Oh, hello everybody, brace yourselves. Ah, giant Oddish, here to terrify and confuse you. What's up, Manic? What's up, 2-Hit? What's up, LaRetro Spiso and Fury Fighter? Hi everybody, happy Friday. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing good now. It's been a very eventful day, as it turns out. New home, internet-related dropping frames. The internet is back, maybe. Okay, so let's go through this real quick and explain what's going on. So last night, after we ended the stream, before I went to bed, I started feeling bad. I realized I had made a terrible mistake somewhere, and it turned out that I had like food poisoned myself or something. And so I was in bad shape last night. I was in bad shape this morning. So I didn't end up going to work today, and that was the right decision on a couple of levels, because it also meant that I was able to contact my ISP and I was able to get them out here today, which I wasn't expecting to be able to do. So the nice feller from Spectrum came over. He checked all the wiring connections, all the equipment stuff. I forget. You think it was the Addams Family game? It probably was. Yeah. I just internalized all those fart sounds, and it had to come out somehow. And not the way you would expect. But, somebody last night, you'll have to forgive me for forgetting who it was. Someone in chat has done like cable tech support before, and they were speculating that switching out the modem again might actually resolve the issue. That's exactly what this guy thought. So I have another new modem now. Everything else he said, that was you, Arcade. Cool. We'll see if you were right. We'll see if you and he were right. Because he said everything else looked good. All of my lines leading out to the main lines looked fine. Router was okay. So he switched out the modem. And I said to call him back if things poop out again. Because I mean, it's such... Internet for streamers is so different from internet for everyone else. Like if your internet drops out for a couple seconds, you might not even notice. You know, it's only because the upload has to be so stable and so constant that like anything wrong with my internet just is like a world-ending catastrophe on this channel. So, okay, your mod bi-monthly bonus depends on this. Yeah, we need upload, and we need it to be absolutely rock solid. And unfortunately, I live in the South Bay of Los Angeles, where everything was built 70 years ago. And probably all the cabling is about that old too. So we had I had to explain this to my wife. Cause when I lived out in North Carolina, everything was buried. All the lines were buried. And if you got internet service at your house, they would, like from a new company, they would bury new lines out there because there was so much space. Here in the South Bay, like everything's bought up. Everything belongs to somebody, and there is no space to bury lines, right? So everything is up in these ancient poles where it is exposed to the elements, to the critters, to everything that can possibly go wrong. So inevitably, our internet ends up being less stable here, despite having more infrastructure. Time to tear it all down and remake it. Oh God! If only we didn't live in a late stage capitalist hellhole. If only we lived in a society where we could do things because doing things is good and not because there's profit in it. Maybe we could have nice things. Wouldn't that be neat? Wouldn't mean the squirrels are an issue with the internet services out here. Never heard that problem in Louisiana, where we all have our wires on poles. I don't know. Like, are the squirrels naturally selecting out? Are they that bored? Do they hate wires? Do they have some sort of aggression towards electrical? I don't know. I can't explain it. It does seem weird to me. But nevertheless, those little bastards will chew these lines to pieces. And if the situation is not resolved yet, if we do have internet drops tonight, it may very well be that. It may be one of the main lines in my neighborhood, not out here, but like on the main road or something. Just has a big old squirrel face shaped hole in it, in the shielding on it. And the damp air or whatever in the evening gets in there and blows my packets all over Southern California. I think it's a generic lie they tell people to explain away problems. No, they've shown me. When I first moved in here and I first started having internet problems, and we got a guy out here and he replaced the cable running up to the pole. He showed me. I saw their tooth marks. It's real. It's a thing that happens. And I mean, we know the squirrels, it's their highway. They're all up there all the time, all day. He nibbled on the line himself. That's standard Spectrum procedure when you can't diagnose the problem. Just go up there and have a little chew on the cable yourself. After disconnecting it, of course. Fun fact, when I worked at cable tech support, Florida was a state where people kept getting their tech fried every couple of days due to constant lightning strikes. Never seen so many lightning fried pieces of tech in my life. That's amazing. Is your Spectrum guy slightly furry? He had a nice beard going on, that's for sure. He's a bit hirsute. Cable tech support came here too. I feel bad for him because the second he arrived, started hailing. Oh my god, damn, dude. If Bosch ever gets back into Magic, he's gonna have to build a squirrel deck, and yes, this is a thing. I believe it. I don't doubt you for a second. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, my plan for the foreseeable future is I'm gonna stream every night like I normally do, and I will stream until any internet problems just get unbearable, and then I'll end at that point. So what's up? Even was the Spectrum guy you? Were you chewing on the wire? I have other things to chew on, okay? I'm an accomplished 40-year-old man with his own house. I could find my own things to chew on. Just invest in a private internet service like Maximilian. Oh yeah, definitely. I've definitely got the cash to throw around like he does for streaming. Let me go ahead and get one of those $1,000 a month enterprise lines. That's not a no. It's true. It's not. Google Fiber. I don't think they do Google Fiber anymore. I think that whole program was discontinued. I mean, it's definitely not available around here. I think Google Fiber, whether or not it still exists, got squeezed out of the LA market. The ISPs around here are absolutely cutthroat. Like, every single time at the old place, every single time I had internet issues, I would look at the options and I would call up some other places and like, yeah, we can't service your building. So maybe that's different now that I'm in a standalone place. But honestly, if we can be honest for a second here, Spectrum I feel like is Jesus Christ, Shadows. What in the hell is that? That's painful. I mean, Spectrum has been extremely responsive when I have troubles. Like, they are out here the next day, like, checking everything, trying everything they know to do. So I'm honestly pretty happy with their service. I mean, I understand that things are gonna happen with how old and spotty the infrastructure around here is. So I don't hold this against them. I did when I lived at the old place, and I was really frustrated with the whole situation. And to their credit, they did absolutely everything they could. That is, I posted the image you meant. Is this it? That's you. This isn't a background, dude. I can't just do. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Unfortunately, I can't use that for a number of reasons, but chief among them, I'm not just using a big white background. Pirate image. It's just a dong. No, it's just text that says token validation failed. And I can't set my background to text. I can't copy paste that. Oh, there it is. Okay. What is this? What is this? All right, I accept. That I accept. That I can live with. Let me go ahead and set that. Nah. Wait, this is the, wow, this is the second time this one's been requested. That's really funny. I was like, why is it trying to overwrite? And it's like, because it's already there, idiot. I even tried to give it the same goofy name too. All right, hang on. We're gonna scoot back here for just a second so I can do this. So I can do this. And that's what will greet us next time. But not tonight, because you're just stuck with this. Fucking hell that I can't make my wallpaper token validation failed. Use the link as a screenshot of Notepad with a long link in it. Now that's brilliant. I like that. Thanks to Shadows, $10 of my fund money is going to Ace Combat 7. Swear to God, I'm gonna make a really cool image that's all token validation failed. I believe in you. I believe in your capability to do that. Playing Sundered again and hoping to actually finish it. I want to do that someday. I want to do that. I really like Sundered. Sundered is a neat game, and I got really far into it and just never finished it because it is a difficult game. It can be an uphill battle in parts. You know what I've been doing? If you weren't in Discord, you wouldn't have seen this. I've been playing Shadows of Doubt. I solved my first murder. I did it. I really did it. It was a crime of passion, and I caught the perpetrator. I was very proud of myself. And I've been doing side stuff too. I did one of the photography side missions. I got this one like corporate espionage mission that's like insanely hard. Like I can't figure out really how to get started in it. I keep having ideas and they keep dead ending, but I think I'll get there eventually. But yeah. Manic, I'm not reading that. I'm not saying that out loud. What's up, Ms. Roy? Good to see you. Sorry I had to come on in on that note. How many people died before you got the killer? Nobody, actually. Well, I mean, the person who got murdered, obviously. But yeah, I caught them the day after. I caught them the day after they committed the murder. I was very proud of myself. I snuck into the apartment. Originally, I thought it was their partner because it was two of them living together, and there was a pistol silencer in and ammunition in their house. So I was like, oh Jesus, their partner just went straight off them. So I went to follow up on the partner and didn't get any leads there. So then I went to the victim's workplace and I managed to get into the managerial computer and read their assessment of the victim, and it said that they had been like flirting with some of their coworkers, and that helped me out because I had a clue. It was like a note that the murderer had left at the crime scene, and it was an anagram. It was a mixed up something, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And I compared that against the employee database, and I found somebody's name. And I went to their apartment, and I cased their apartment. I found the murder weapon. But I had the murder weapon, but I didn't have their fingerprints. So I got the fingerprints from their apartment, and then I went back to the original crime scene. And it took a while because they didn't steal anything. They didn't steal anything. They didn't go through the apartment at all. So their prints weren't anywhere except on the front door. So I got their prints off the front door, and I was able to put them away with that. So I was very proud of myself. I was watching Vinny stream Gollum in the game as a fatal bug once he got out of the intro cutscenes. 10 out of 10. I've heard that game is incredibly bad. The screenshots I've seen of it give me no confidence in it whatsoever. Hodish is afraid of my puns. It's true. It's absolutely true. And I make no secret of that. Your puns are fucking terrifying to me. Cool thing I noticed that I played through is you profile more people, it can make for interesting stuff where I instantly knew who a killer was from fingerprints. That's cool. Yeah, I love how much information you can get from people. Like, one of my new favorite things is just going into like the diners and just looking at the employee boards, because you get so much information off of that. Because like, starting out, everyone is like a complete unknown, right? If you go and talk to somebody, they're just unknown citizen, right? But like in the diner, if you go up to the employee board where they've got all their pictures posted, that tells you their name and their position, but most importantly, it shows you who they are. And that's like a huge hurdle in Shadows of Doubt, is putting a face with a name. Once you have their face, if you just go talk to them, you'll get a ton of information. You'll get like their voice print and all that stuff. And then you've got the start of like a really solid profile for them. So yeah, the public employee boards in like restaurants and stuff. And then I have discovered that pretty much all businesses have digital databases and physical ones. They have physical files on all their employees. So that's like my first stop now when I need to find somebody, is like figure out where they work and then just get their whole profile and everything from there. So it's cool. And I've learned a lot about how to make money on the side. There's a government database too. Ooh, I haven't tried breaking into City Hall. I should do that. The city I generated for this most recent game was really interesting. It had some buildings with like multiple elevators and like multiple towers to them that connected in weird ways. That was pretty neat. Game mod ID, all killers are unemployed. That would make it really hard. And of course, they let you, there's different difficulties, and I assume that increases the complexity of like finding clues and stuff. I'm playing on easy. So I'm probably gonna solve a few more murders on easy before moving my way up. Spoiler for a bunch of murder mysteries. I hope the game eventually allows cops to be the killers. I mean, the cops are like, you can profile the cops as well. The cops are just as much citizens in the city as everyone else. So I'm pretty sure they can be murderers. I mean, you know, obvious joke aside. Or the game allows you to recruit the last of Sheila. I'm the only one who thought it was an interesting game idea. Shameless pile of poo. Oh, the Gollum game. They play the Styx games, those are basically goblin. Yeah, the Styx games are like, they're like stealth games where you play like a little goblin, right? Gobbing around, doing gobbo things. All we have to do is be patient, start gameplay soon. Keep telling yourself that. Keep telling yourself that. Yeah, I'm really liking Shadows of Doubt. We might stream it again sometime. Once I get a better grip on the game, I might stream an actual case. Prove, because I'm sure Eva and a bunch of other people in chat are like, yeah, whatever, idiot. He didn't solve anything. He just took those screenshots off the Steam community page or something. But I can prove it to you one of these days. I can do it. Damn, I came in and heard about breaking into a government database. I thought the revolution was starting. Sorry, Loader High. No, I was playing Shadows of Doubt and I actually solved the case. I was very proud of myself, so we're talking shop about that. But I'm glad you're here, even if there is no revolution afoot. Oh, the bot got the demo. Whoops. Almost, but not here. Well, I bet the demo links to the main game page anyway. Ew, he's proud of himself. Ew, gross, nasty. Ugh. It's got a stamp on that. Well, there's only so much you can do. I'm still riding high on my victory here. So if I get any time this weekend, I'm gonna play some more of it. But we are gonna be busy this weekend. We got to be up tomorrow. My kids have a sports day at their Japanese school, so that's gonna be like the whole morning and most of the afternoon, and then they got to go straight from that to their cheerleading practice. I might get some time to play it tomorrow evening before we do the power hours. Maybe Sunday. We're going to a cookout on Sunday, and that'll probably be like the entire day. And then we're going to Knott's Berry Farm on Monday because we have season tickets and we haven't made optimal use of them yet, so we're gonna go throw my daughter on some roller coasters and see how long she lasts. Remember, next time you need to catch a killer, just hack in the government. I'm sure they'll prove once you explain. Yeah, that's honestly one of the things I love about Shadows of Doubt, is like they basically turned solving crime into a gig economy, but they don't give you like they don't give you any inroads to actually doing it. So you literally have to commit crimes to solve crimes. And you know, I'm totally okay with that. To be honest, I pompously talked about solving Oberdin for weeks at my friends who hadn't yet played it. I understand very much Pride and Prejudice or whatever. Do you ever play Retro Game Challenge? I feel like that'd be a game I'm sorry, is it a game called Retro Game Challenge? Because I don't think I've heard of that. Crime and punishment system in Shadows of Doubt is fantastic. You left the building? Well, we can't catch you now. Oh God, yeah. When I went to the victim's place of business, the whole thing was off limits. Like the whole thing was private. So just setting foot in there, people were like, hey, what the hell? And then yeah, I would just run out in the streets and run around the alleys for a while until they got bored and left. Retro Game Challenge is what they localized. Oh, the Game Center CX game. Isn't the Game Center CX game on Nintendo DS? It's a DS game based on Game Center CX where you play a bunch of retro NES games and complete challenges given by Arnia. Okay, cool. Cool. I actually remember, I remember now when I was living in Japan, I remember seeing that on the shelves and not knowing what it was because ironically, when I was living in Japan, I wasn't aware of Game Center CX. So now, with the benefit of hindsight, I know what it is and I realize I missed out. A bunch of fake manuals and magazines and stuff you can read to get hints about the game, get some world building and shit. It's really cool. That's cool. That's cool. I like most of them. Rally King is not great. Have any of you seen those fun LA Noire VR silly videos? I haven't. I have not. Are we reading the Skulljagger novella tonight? No, we are not, because I don't have it. I don't own the Skulljagger novella. We're only reading physical stuff. That's why we're doing Giant Oddish tonight. That's why we don't have anything else up on the screen, is because everything's gonna be happening in the real world for once. And I have a good excuse for this, because behold my pile of manuals over here. I have 4 stacks of manuals here, and this isn't even all of them. This is only the small ones. The big ones are on the floor down, where's my hand? There's my hand. The big ones are on the floor down here. So once we get started, I'm just gonna be reaching back here and grabbing a manual and being like, oh shit, remember this game? Let's look at the manual. I wanna see the Planescape Torment manual. That's gotta be in here somewhere. It's probably one of the thicker ones. Can't remember the name of it now, but there was a Western indie game where you played retro-themed minigames to earn tokens for a gacha. Interesting. Rules lawyering the system by blatantly cheating to win challenges is a major game mechanic. I think it's a funny way of adapting the Game Center CX experience. Planescape Torment, your one true love. I've always got that in the back of my mind to stream. If I ever want to stream a retro RPG for a really long ass time, basically if I want to do another Fallout 2, I will probably do Planescape Torment. So it's always fresh in my mind when I think about these things. Oh, speaking of which, I might as well mention, tomorrow night obviously is the Power Hours. We'll pick up post Aerobiz. I still can't believe that was in the magazine. I didn't even realize it. No stream on Sunday, and then Monday, I don't know what we're doing. I haven't decided. I have a bunch of thoughts. I am considering starting a point and click adventure. I've got a couple of point and click adventures I want to start. I'm considering starting a platformer since I basically hit point and click adventure and RPG already, which were the 2 big ones that came back from the genre vote that we did. So platformer would be next in line based on popularity. I'm thinking about doing something just totally off the reservation. Metroid Dread. I'm not doing Metroid Dread. We have to work up to Metroid Dread. I still have to play Metroid 4. You own it on the same disc as Icewind Dale. Nice. 100% missed the genre vote stream. Did the oh, like when we talked about the results? Did you? Anyway, for anyone who cares, well, I guess it does still matter because I'm still gonna be considering these when I'm picking games. It's not like we did one point and click adventure, one RPG, and it just like dumped it after that. There were basically 3 ties. There was a tie for first place, there was a tie for second place, and there was a tie for third place. The tie for first place was point-and-click adventures and RPGs, which is a big reason why my first games after ending that vote were Quest for Glory and Off. The ties for second place were platformers and real-time strategy games. And then the ties for third place were FPSs and simulators. And yeah, technically Quest for Glory was both. So I really nailed it on that one. So I am considering other possibilities for RPGs. I'm a bit limited in my options though, because I'm basically within a month of my trip. For anybody who missed it, I am going to Japan at the end of next month, just as I did last year. So, did you find the whole of Glory? No, I found some Glory. Unfortunately, it wasn't in a hole. So, any RPGs I'm considering right now are definitely shorter ones. Yeah, Phantasy Star is a possibility. It's funny as young Arino you interact with is voiced by your. There's only 1 degree between Arino and Spider-Man. That's funny. Curious what super short RPGs we could do. What do I have on my list? Because I do have the list of games that we talked about the night we played Nisance. I have been hanging on to that. Let's see, not that. Space Funeral, obviously I want to play. Phantasy Stars on the shorter end. Oath and Felghana and Xanadu Next both seem to be short. Something called Gurumin. Finding Paradise. We could probably do Shadowrun Dragonfall. It's not one of those like giant sprawling things. RPG catalog RPG is more in the vein of Crisis Core, the more active battle system. Agatha Knife? What the hell is that? Don't know the genre name. Actually, I never played Crisis Core, so I don't know what those games are like. I'd say Phantasy Star. So Phantasy Star, according to how long to play, is around 16 hours, which I would consider anything 20 hours and less. I would consider short for an RPG. I don't know what type of games we're talking about. Mom came in to talk. Action RPGs. Okay. Space Funeral is insanely short, from my understanding. How long is Gurumin again? My research turned up 9 hours for that. I don't know the ease we're talking about. The original is fucking mean. It's not the original, I don't think. Diablo 1 stream would be dope. Yeah, don't hold your breath on that. I have less inclination to do any Blizzard games now than I ever have. I'm so over that company. Oh, the Felghana's a remake of Ys 3. And we played Ys 3, right? We played the Super Nintendo version of it, didn't we? Pirated? I mean, I own it. I just don't want to play it. There are other ARPGs I'd much rather play. Darkstone? Fuck Darkstone. That game is garbage. Oh, I hate that game. Agatha Knife is a puzzle RPG type, I guess. You're trying to found a wait a minute. You're trying to found a religion called carnivorism? Free on Prime with Twitch. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. Oh, the Felghana is more asymmetric and better paced. How about Cthulhu Saves the World? I actually don't like those games either. The, what are those? The Zeboid games? I actually don't like the way they design RPGs. I played all the way through Breath of Death and Cthulhu Saves the World, and I was kind of on them. I don't like the way they design their dungeons. They end up feeling really tedious to me. And the way that you can actually run out of fights in that, like, I know it was intended to be like a quality of life thing, but it also makes it kind of hard to level past stuff too if you're just having a tough time with something. So I found them both kind of struggles to get through. Other than Felgana is one of the better ways of handling levels. Basically, when you kill enemies, you're an XP multiplier. The best way to grind is by maintaining long combos through levels. Oh, that's cool. I like that. Prefer action RPGs to menu RPGs. Might not be more engaging, but it feels like it. I mean, apples and oranges to me. To me, it's. I get why they're both called RPGs. If you're basing the RPG genre in stat sheets, then yeah, they have that common DNA. But like, I'm never sitting there thinking, I want to play an RPG. Should I play Grim Dawn or Shadowrun? I don't do that. Ease 1 is interesting in that you reach your level cap halfway through. Ease 1 expects you at the level cap. Level cap is like 10. Get they want you to be max level by the time you hit the final dungeon. Balance that. Their bosses with that in mind. So strange. Me an RPG type. I think of RPG as role play, story driven rather than mechanics. No combat or dungeons. And Agatha Knife. Yeah, I think those for a lot of people, myself included, have somehow become adventure games. More in common with like point and click adventures than RPGs. But I get where you're coming from. You're playing a role. Non-RPG point and click, I think a lot of folks would dig as Landlord of the Woods. About an hour in gorgeous, spooky hand-drawn art. I've never heard of that. That's interesting. It's one of those huge itch.io bundles. Then I probably have it. Because I bought like I bought 2 of those, I think. Boring ass take with Chrono Trigger is fairly short. Wait, what? Is it though? I mean, it can be, but I feel like that can't be right. Hang on. I mean, how long to beat says 23 hours. Yeah, I guess so. I guess it really does kind of depend on how much stuff you do once you get the epoch. That makes me curious about something. Okay. I was curious how a Final Fantasy game would compare to that. Final Fantasy VI is 35 hours the minimum. So I guess Chrono Trigger is a shorter game, huh? Never really thought about that. That's interesting. Sam Dev made another great game recently called Birth. I love her work. I'll look that up, Helvy. That's interesting. Landlord Super is apparently coming out, which is like House Flipper, but by the Jalopy devs. I played it so much I speedrun it. That's possible too. But I mean, I played it a bunch, so it wouldn't exactly go slow for me or anything. What's up, Nuddle Masher? Oh, you like my map of Hyrule over here? Yeah, I actually kind of wish I had more maps. Like this is Vardenfell over here from Morrowind. You can't. It's right off the top of the camera, but the layered world map of Final Fantasy Legend 3 is up there. This is, oh fuck my arm. Oh god, it doesn't bend the right way. That's the World of Balance from Final Fantasy 6, and then next to that are the dungeon maps from Final Fantasy 1. I have. Oh yeah, it's right here. That's the world map from Final Fantasy Adventure on Game Boy. Excuse me. Want to replay Legend of Dragoon? I'm not about that JRPG life, even with the Paper Mario combat mechanic. Ease 2 is really good in general. It's fun. Doom RPG is short. I do want to play Doom RPG. I really, really do. There's actually there's a Doom thing that I've been wanting to stream, and I keep missing my chance. I really want to do that. Play Doom RL. I mean, I have Jupiter Hell. I could always go back to just playing Jupiter Hell. Costume Quest games are short. I've played through the first Costume Quest, and it's good. I'm not sure how fun of a stream it would be. It's a very straightforward game. Should stream Doom and Doom 2. I mean, nothing wrong with that. I do love retro FPSs. Speaking of Final Fantasy VI, hoping to be this weekend doing some side quests for the final dungeon of Catch Where I'm At. Yep. You should do everything you can. You should do everything in Final Fantasy VI. That's not always the case in a Final Fantasy game, but in Final Fantasy VI, it really pays off narratively to do all of the side stuff. Remember Costume Quest Final Boss clapping my ass? I don't even remember Costume Quest Final Boss. I mean, I played it back on the Xbox 360. I played it when it was on Live Arcade, so that was a long time ago. You soft locked yourself. How did you soft lock yourself out of the final dungeon in Final Fantasy VI? How is that possible? Trying to get a Jupiter Hellwind would be an interesting stream. They've had more act bosses since you last played. Oh God. I mean, I wasn't even particularly good when I last played it. Only ever beaten Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VIII. My last disc of Final Fantasy VIII was fucked, so I couldn't even see the final cutscenes. That's a shame. By the way, speaking of which, first manual I have on the top of the pile is actually the manual for Final Fantasy VIII. Because I have the PC version of it. Funny enough. Maybe we can gently segue into talking about manuals. Because I mean, honestly, I don't have an agenda tonight. Like, I'm just gonna grab stuff off the pile and flip through it and talk about it. So if I have something that's germane to the discussion, I might as well grab it. Kind of think of giving Final Fantasy VII another chance to. You mentioned that last night, and I would heartily encourage you to do so. This is the one that I want to give another try to, because like I said last night, I played through it once when I was in high school. I hated it, beat it, and then after I beat it, upon reflection, I liked it a lot more. Well, I guess maybe I didn't like it, but I had my opinions of it changed. So I think just like with Final Fantasy IX, I think it would very much be worth revisiting this. It's pretty sweet. Table contents. I think it'd be worth revisiting this to see how my opinion of it has changed. Especially now that I understand the combat system better. This is pretty cute. I will say a full color manual is actually pretty nice for this era. A lot, and I mean a lot of these PC manuals I have back here, as nice as they are in black and white. So having a nice glossy full color one is pretty sharp. I'll give, oh, they were still Squaresoft at the time. I'll give Squaresoft some credit for that. If you use the exit spell, there's a certain section of the wall that respawns with no way to get rid of it. Oh shit, Arcane, I didn't know about that. Here's our cast, our motley crew of seedlings. Try to use Siphon Filter Omega Strain and you chance like 5 times throughout my life. Hate it more each time. Hopefully like Final Fantasy VIII more. I mean, you never know. You never know. I might, because I'm, you know, being an editor, I might be even more offended by the story in this than I was when I was in high school. This is, I gotta say, this is an extremely extensive magazine. I mean, it feels like a magazine. It's all glossy and stuff, but like the menus, just the menu screen, they break this stuff down in exacting detail. That map of Ardenfell you have there, where I played Morrowind for the first time, I used that to help me get around and find dungeons. I thought that's why it was in there. I mean, isn't it? It is very helpful. It's actually got some really useful stuff marked on it. Battle screen. Play Siphon Filter at some point. There's a cutscene where you walk away from someone burning to death without coming out like an absolute sociopath. Awesome. They got breakdowns of all the limit breaks. Ooh. The junction system, along with your cute little GFs. Not your girlfriends, your guardian forces. Actually, you've seen the Sonic 3 manual. It has a really funny page where the game has some pretty shoddy hit detection originally. The game frames him as Dr. No. Yeah, please go ahead, Shadows. I would love to see that. I totally forgot. Like the first GF you get in Final Fantasy VIII is Quetzalcoatl. Isn't Final Fantasy VIII like the only Final Fantasy where Quetzalcoatl is a summon? Shiva was my girlfriend, Dick. We all wish. Even more Sonic Super Play tips. Dr. Robotnik's create many diabolical traps which take advantage of Sonic's ultra-fast speed. Watch out for traps that Sonic cannot escape. If you fall into the wrong trap, you might have to reset the... Oh my god, that's so funny. When Sonic is flashing after being hit, don't let him travel too quickly. Oh my god. That is a will not fix bug if I've ever seen one. Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah, Quetzalcoatl. Quetzalcoatl is a summon. The big bird looking dude. Spirit which governs lightning. Yeah, they, I don't think Old Man Rema is in this one. They've got Shiva and they've got Ifrit, but I think they left him out in favor of Quetzalcoatl. I think Falcon 4.0's manual is something like 700 pages long. It is, yeah. I don't have it. We didn't have it, but I remember PC Gamer making a big deal of it and even including a screenshot of it. Yeah, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, Final Fantasy VIII had a bunch of unique summons that never really came back around, like Diabolos. They lock commands behind summon XP in 8. Yep, they do. I mean, this is a lot. Wow, this is kind of funny. They just put the key art for this thing on a page in the manual. Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about this crazy mech suit looking thing. Yeah, you'll figure it out. Diablos is in Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy 14 doesn't count. Final Fantasy 14 is like the Final Fantasy greatest hits. Everything is in Final Fantasy 14. Yeah, but can you suplex it? Maybe. Maybe. Square was very aware of that meme from a very early point on. You have to fight Doom Train to get it. Actually, wait, doesn't Zell have a suplex? I think you can suplex it. I think you have to fight Doom Train to get it. And I think Zell can suplex it. Okay, my interest in replaying Final Fantasy VIII just like quintupled just because of this conversation. Cover the Japanese manual for Sonic and Knuckles has a really funny decorative. Sonic races through the green fields. The sun races through a blue sky filled with white clouds. The ways of his heart are much like the sun. Sonic runs and rests, the sun rises and sets. Don't give up on the sun. Don't make the sun laugh at you. Fucking incredible. That's incredible. They actually devoted a bunch of manual space for the minigames too. They give you a 2-page rundown on how Triple Triad works, which is nice. They give you a rundown on how Chocobo World works. Chocobo World was the little external game. Remember in with what was it? Skies of Arcadia. Skies of Arcadia had a little VMU game that you could play when you weren't on the Dreamcast. And it was like a little mini game where you're flying your airship around and you're finding treasures and whatnot. Yeah, Chocobo World was for the Wonder Swan. For the PC version, which is what this is, they put a tiny emulated version of Chocobo World in with the install, so you can play it right there on your PC. I mean, it lost some of the appeal when you had to sit at your computer to play Chocobo World, because I mean it's basically a VMU game, but yeah. Now what the hell is all this? There's the credits. There's a nice notes page with our boy there. If you need to scribble some notes on Squall's face or just draw a big dick on it. And then they do have a mini walkthrough. So Square was still doing mini walkthroughs for their Final Fantasy games up through Final Fantasy VIII. I should check the Final Fantasy IX manual to see if there's a mini walkthrough in there. It's funny to me, honestly, because at this point, I feel like their games really didn't need mini walkthroughs. I feel like they were doing it more out of tradition than anything else, because like I mean, honestly, from Final Fantasy VII on, like the early hours of the game are very straightforward. They're pretty linear. I would include Final Fantasy VI in that, but they do loose you onto the world map right after Narsh. So. So the game I'll play something more fun than Final Fantasy. So yeah. And then, of course, at the very end, there's an ad for the Brady Games guide, which I don't have. I have the guide for, is it here? Hang on. Let me skip ahead to one of the big ones. That's weird. I have the strategy guide for Final Fantasy VII somewhere. Like the big comprehensive one that tells that goes in depth on like chocobo breeding and all that other stuff. I don't see it. I wonder if it's on one of my other shelves or something. I have to go hunting for that at some point. Brady Games guide for RE4. They were using action replay. Leona has code on the island, the little screenshot. Oh, that's funny. Saying there's no scan of the manual for RC Stunt Copter on PS1, that's really funny. There's step-by-step instructions for how to turn the game that begins with evolve into a society-based bipedal creature with disposable thumbs. Had the Dragon Quest VIII guide, the alchemy recipes and location of the secret slime grind island were really useful. I always liked in old JRPG manuals, the big lists of everything. Like this poster. This poster here. This poster is a chart of every enemy in Final Fantasy 1. Like all of them, with all their stats and special attacks and stuff. I liked when games did that. I understand why they stopped, but I did think that was pretty cool. So, since we're on an RPG kick at the moment, why don't I grab this one? Check it out, chat. We have the manual for Arcanum of Steamworks and Magic Obscura, and this is a thick boy. This is a thick boy right here. This one is 192 pages. 192 page manual. All black. Actually, I want to give them some credit for this. I did mention that a lot of PC manuals at the time, despite their level of quality, were still in black and white. This one is this one is actually sepia toned. They actually used like sepia ink for this. I wonder if anyone has added Colonial Marines to the auto spreadsheet. It'd be a waste of time because it's not old and it's not weird. It's just bad. Just be the first major boss of Elden Ring. Came to the realization FromSoft made these bosses way too fast, like Sekiro fast with the monstrous sizes of Dark Souls bosses. They have gotten faster and faster over time, haven't they? All right, there is a 2-page. The first thing you get when you open this is a 2-page in-character preface. No single volume to date has yet collected all 6,000 years of Arcanum's recorded history. Indeed, many would argue that it is impossible to approach such a gargantuan subject within the covers of a single book. When I was a younger man, it was my burning ambition to write the definitive history of all Arcanum, but I never imagined for a moment that it was possible to do so in a simple or concise manner. Instead, I labored for many decades, traveling from place to place in my researches, and produced no fewer than 23 detailed volumes which I dared to call the complete histories. Alas, the fiery arrogance of youth. Oh, I love it. So this goes on for 6 dense-ass paragraphs. Forward to a brief history of Arcanum, Dr. Julius M. Crenshaw, Department of History at Tarrant University. I've actually been there. And then it seems like each of these sections... Oh my God, this whole thing is written in character. Jesus Christ, this whole thing is written in character. Look, Chapter 1, Introduction. The following is excerpted from the Principia Technologica, reprinted here with permission of the publisher, Tarrant University Press, and the author. Copyright 1876, all rights reserved. Principia Technologica, being the collected lectures of Sir Harris Guffingford, a helpful illustration of the principles of science. Chapter the 4th, on the eternal conflict between natural and supernatural forces. They're actually running down the concept of the friction between science and magic. Like, they actually spend pages, multiple pages, laying all this out. That is so cool. This is so cool. Chapter 2, getting started, in which we prepare for the game to come. Mr. Christie's ready-baked character is a quick start to our pleasures in Arcanum. This is the first paragraph in this section. For those lacking the patience to endure the long and complex process of creating a character of one's own, the makers of this fine game have provided a means of escaping the unwelcome tedium. Yes, gentle player, you can begin your sojourn in Arcanum with all haste. For your personal convenience, a variety of prefabricated characters have been made available, thus avoiding the muss and fuss of making one from scratch. Infocom level immersion? Tell me about Balloon Eyes. But yeah, I think this entire thing, yeah, when they go through the stats, everything is in character. This is so cool. This is extremely well written. Like, this is a line talking about a menu, talking about like a character menu. Pressing on, we find the technological disciplines button and display the disciplines window for a nearly completed character. The technological disciplines of Arcanum fall into 8 categories listed and explained below. Scroll forward. Yeah. Section 3-3, Combat. It is our sad duty to inform you that combat, for better or worse, is an integral part of life in Arcanum. Should the need arise to give someone or something a jolly good thrashing, the player can initiate combat mode at any time by pressing the combat button on the main interface, figure 3-1. Amazing. This is so cool. Wasn't the Metal Gear Solid 2 manual also a manga that introduced you to the game mechanics? I don't... That might have been a section of it, but I don't think so. Better or worse is definitely accurate describing Arcanum's combat. And this is really extensive. Like, every single topic they hit in this gets like full paragraph in character. Like, they had to pay somebody a lot of money to work on this. This is incredible. There's a frankly incredible amount of... What? This game had multiplayer? Since when does Arcanum have multiplayer? I mean, I can't imagine it functions now, but what the shit? I had no idea. For the benefit of those players who might wish to play Arcanum in the company of friends, our game has been provided with a, quote, multiplayer mode, end quote, which will permit the player and several compatriots to enjoy a game on a local area network or even over the internet. I want to see Daggerfall's manual. Unfortunately, I don't own a physical copy of Daggerfall. I forget it was Arcanum or Fallout 2's manual that became a cookbook. Fallout and Fallout 2 both have recipes at the end. I don't think this one does. Let me check real quick. Never mind, it does. Appendix 11. This book has 11 appendices. Halfling recipe. The following is excerpted from the Cookhill family recipe book, lately published by Fredwise Cookhill, owner and proprietor of the famous Three Loaves Public House and Inn in Ashbury, used with permission of the author. Grandma Cookhill's 3-bowl bread. I hope you're ready to take notes, chat. In a large bowl, blend 1/3 of a cup softened butter and 2/3 a cup of sugar until creamy and light. When this is done, add a fresh hen's egg and beat the mixture a bit more to blend. In a second bowl, sift 1 3/4 cup of flour together with 1 1/2 teaspoons baking powder, 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda, and a teaspoon of Cumbrian cinnamon. In the third bowl, mash 3 very ripe banana fruit, preferably of the sweeter Catanese variety. Add 1/3 of the flour mixture to the butter bowl and beat the two together, then add 1/3 of the mashed bananas and beat again. Continue adding both mixtures by thirds to the large bowl until all the flour, butter, and eggs and banana fruit are thoroughly blended. Then, if you wish, you may add a 1/2 cup of shelled walnuts for flavor. Imagine thinking you need more flavor to that. Spread the batter into a well-greased 4-inch by 8-inch pan and bake for 1 hour at a temperature of 350 degrees. The resulting bread is very healthful and tasty and can be served as an addition to the mid-morning meal. It also makes a pleasant snack in a picnic basket and is wholly appropriate fare to offer elven visitors. This fancy page with both baking powder and baking soda. We make it banana bread? Seems so. Can I also just say their choice for inline art for the warranty page is amazing? It's a fucking, like, orc enforcer. Y'all, Sierra and Troika really knew what was up. This is great. Boyfriend hates walnuts and banana bread. Somehow I still allow him in the house. Look, Helvy, nobody's perfect, okay? Actually, I shouldn't even tell you this because I'll probably never see you again now, but I'm actually allergic to walnuts, so. I'm not saying they're not good. I would enjoy them if I could eat them, but I can't. Recipes made from game devs always remind me of the awful chicken pizzadilla thing that was making the rounds a few years ago. Strategy tips. Oh wow, the appendices. Oh, they do the thing that I love. The appendices actually break down all of the schematics and spells that you can get. So you can actually plan your entire build just from the manual. Oh, thank you, Helvete. I wish I wasn't allergic to anything. Allergies are just a huge pain in the ass, but yeah. This is an excellent manual. This is an extremely solid manual. If we ever do end up streaming Arcanum, and personally I would very much like to, as janky a game as it can be, I think it would be a pretty good time. In a similar vein as the Fallout games that we did. One thing that's interesting on here, and this just reminded me of a game that I wish I had and I don't, because I think it's abandonware at this point. There's an ad on the back for Throne of Darkness, and I don't know if any of y'all remember this, but it's like a samurai Japanese themed Diablo-like. And I remember playing the demo of it, and it wasn't great. Admittedly, and I think that's one of it's on GOG. Oh shit. Okay, I might grab it on there and try it one night then. Thank you for letting me know, Null Masher, because I've always been curious about this. Even though the demo wasn't great, I think one of its claims to fame is it's a Diablo style game where you can actually control up to 3 characters at once. You own the physical game? Holy shit. Oh shit, this game contains mature content recommended only for ages 17 plus. I need an adult, chat. Yep, there it is. I remember that cool ass enemy who basically is like, he's in 2 halves because his midsection's a mouth. That's just really neat looking. $6 to make all my dreams come true. I love it. The Demon Zenshin. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out at some point. Just put it on next game too. Sounds good. Sounds good. Is it better than Darkstone? Everything is better than Darkstone. Darkstone is garbage. Don't play Darkstone. Let's see what else we got in the pile here. Well, that just makes me sad. That also kind of makes me sad. Blizzard. Okay, I have an entire. Hang on. I think. Let's just get this stuff out of the way. I think. Ooh, I want to talk about that for sure. I have an entire stack right here of Blizzard stuff. This is my Blizzard section. This is the when is this from? 2008. This is a Blizzard product catalog from 2008. Would you like a life-size replica of Frostmourne? Someone put every SNES game manual on Internet Archive. That's awesome. That is great. World of Warcraft keyboards. There was a... I actually don't remember a World of Warcraft trading card game. I guess it existed. I guess it doesn't exist anymore. Maybe Hearthstone cannibalized it. Maybe it just died off on its own before that. It was kick-ass, really? Huh. There was an ongoing World of Warcraft comic book series. World of Warcraft bath mats. It was Hearthstone. Well, there you go. Do you want some Blizzard board games? Also, especially made raid decks, which are pre-constructed to be boss fight. Novels, oh god, novels. Battle chest, battle chest. I guess by this point they knew their audience because their page for World of Warcraft, they just put zombie tits on it. They knew what they were doing. Did stay in Warcraft for long. MMORPGs are my jam. I like MMORPGs, but like I want to play through the story and then I'm done. I never get into the end game of these things. Wow, this is really just, it's really just World of Warcraft and then like one page for StarCraft 2. This is apparently, I have to cover this because it has the game key on it. This is apparently my physical copy of Diablo 3, which I didn't realize was in here. I have some guest pass keys for World of Warcraft. I don't know how old these are, if they were used. The manual for Diablo 3. What the hell is this? I have a big, what the hell is all this? Oh, I have guest passes for like Diablo 3 and stuff. MMORPGs require friends who can deal with my stupid ass, which is tall ass. I disagree. I don't think you necessarily need to drag people into an MMO with you. Oh, wait, shit. Is this? Hang on. No, I don't think it is. Fuck. Do I have? Hang on. There might be something really cool. I might have something really cool in here. Because I have this. I have the game manual for World of Warcraft, but I don't think this is the original. I don't think this is the original. Because let me tell you, that's a genuinely interesting thing, is to get the original release instruction manual, because it's a thick boy, like other ones. It's really interesting to get the original instruction manual for an MMORPG, because all that shit changes after just a couple of years. Hang on. Do we have racial abilities? Come on. If we have racial abilities, we're there. Hang on. Hard to tell. The Bubsy manual is written in first person. Help. I want World of Warcraft to die so the Nerd Slayer can do a video on it the last 6.5 days. Even WoW turned out to have a whole bunch of story, and I just didn't know because everyone who played it talked about the cool fights. Yeah, WoW had a ton of story. I actually really enjoyed playing through the quests in WoW. That was like the one thing I wanted to do, was just play through all the quests. And then when I ran out of quests, I quit. And I did that twice. Because this is the manual from the Wrath of the Lich King battle chest that I bought to get back into it. The first time I played it was vanilla, way back in college. And that was, for those of you that actually remember classic World of Warcraft, I played around the time when they added Dire Maul to the game. When Molten Core and Blackrock were the big raids, like early days. And I made an undead warlock, and I played through every single quest I could find. I hit the level cap. I went into Molten Core one time and I quit. And then years and years and years later, mid Wrath of the Lich King era, I bought the battle chest because a buddy wanted to play with me. I made an Undead Warlock. I played through every quest I could find in the base game, in Burning, what is it? What the fuck was that first expansion called? Burning, Burns When I Pee. Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King, hit the level cap, went into one raid dungeon and quit. Same exact thing. Same exact thing. That's just how I do these things. I play like anything RPG and RPG adjacent, I play for story. I think that's one of the reasons I have such a hard time getting deep into ARPGs is I'm still technically playing them for the story. Like I am still technically playing Titan Quest and Grim Dawn and Path of Exile and all those for the story. And when I run out of story, or when I run into a gear or level wall that prevents me from experiencing more story for too long, I just lose interest. I've never been very good about digging deep into ARPGs to work out the mechanics of them. Anyway, this is pretty interesting archaeological dig. If I can find my original World of Warcraft manual, that'd be super interesting. I'll see if that's further down the pile. Wish I could stay tonight. Gotta get up for my stage combat workshop early. I mean, Chaos, that's about the worthiest excuse I've ever heard. So yeah, please have a good one. Sleep well. Stop playing Cataclysm. I bought to play with my girlfriend. We broke up, so I just stopped playing. probably dodged a bullet then. Ask me about the stories behind my EverQuest 2 characters, except don't, because I have way too much details and like talk too much. RPGs, for me, I need the mechanics to be a bit deeper than just loot for the sake of loot. Number go up kind of gets boring when that's the only driving factor. I mean, have you played Grim Dawn? Because Grim Dawn is mechanically insane. Grim Dawn has a ridiculous number of interacting systems to master to make your builds work. Yeah, if you need deep mechanics, I think the two ARPGs for people that love deep mechanics are Path of Exile and Grim Dawn. Grim Dawn has 3 skill trees for each character. Exactly. I like to make my own stories, like the one Factorio where I play as an Adeptus Mechanicus that crashed in a planet building a forge world. See, that's fun, Nuddle Masher. That's always fun, having an open-ended game where you can kind of impose your own story on it. Sometimes that's the most fun. Let's see, what else we got back here? What are we looking at? All right, I think we're gonna shift genres. Let's talk about FPSs for a second here, people. We'll get to you in a second. I have some manuals here. Oh, wow. Okay, we'll definitely talk about that next. Check this out. I have the Ultimate Doom Instruction Manual, which is actually large. Not particularly thick, but it is large. I have the Quake 2 Manual, which has a frankly amazing aesthetic to it, especially after the Quake 1 sad little jewel case manual. And I have, oh shit, this isn't the Tron 2.0 manual. I was like, this is way too thin to be the manual. This is the Tron 2.0 quick reference card. And for those of you that aren't familiar with Tron 2.0, it's got some really neat systems in its subroutines. Quake 2 has a kick-ass intro cutscene. It does, and honestly, I am an old school Quake 2 enjoyer. I will defend my love of Quake 2 any day of the week. I genuinely enjoy the. God damn. This is actually a really nice manual. I mean, this is like nicely textured cardstock. Like, it feels really good. And like, dude, just look at this. It's got this great aesthetic. There's something crammed in here. What does this mean? It means NVIDIA some bullshit. NVIDIA has some bullshit to tell you. You like Quake 2? Good. I knew I liked you for a reason, Eva. Yeah. Excellent aesthetic to this. Hey, who wants to know the story of Quake 2? Oh, wow, the story keeps going, too. Holy, whoa! I don't think anybody would have predicted this. 5 pages of story for Quake 2. And I'm going to read it all to you right now. Brace yourselves. Long shadows claw desperately away from your dusty combat boots, fueled by the relentless sun of a late Texas afternoon. Shading your eyes against the glare, you squint for the 1,000th time at the line of soldiers ahead of you. It stretches on endlessly across the rubble, disappearing at last into the cool shadows of Troop Carrier. Soon you walk up the ramp into the ship, climbing into your one-man cocoon, tear through the interplanetary gateway, and smash down light years away from the blowing sand and blasted ruins that surround the Dallas metro crater. The hell is taking so long, you snarl, slamming the battered barrel of your sidearm, the blaster, against your scarred palm. I've waited long enough. Time to kick some strong ass. Slightly rocking back and forth under the sweltering August sun, you spit out the side of your mouth, rub your eyes, and think back to the day when the wretched creatures first attacked. Like flaming meteors, their crafts pounded into the earth, and unbelievably, these biomechanical aliens, these hideous cyborgs, swarmed out while their ship still sizzled with re-entry heat. They killed or captured anything that lived. We figured that the Strogg were after our planet's resources, minerals, metal, and water, things like that. But their onboard storage facilities did little to disguise what they considered to be resources. Fleshy limbs and organs for new cyborgs, and of course, food. The line moves and moves again, into the cool shadows at last. The assembled armies branch off into new lines divided by corps and units. I can't deal with this shit. What's the friggin' holdup? Cool your jets, Marine, Tokay mutters and smiles over his shoulder. Well, I'll get a few Strogg heads to take home as souvenirs, I promise you that. Yo, Soldier, 3585, the medtech's voice startles you. You in or out? Competent hands guide you into the coffin-like opening of your Mark 9A drop pod. Sleek, dark, and invisible to the Strogos defense systems. One of the techs begins to drop the reinforced pod door. Sleep tight, soldier. You'll see sunlight in less than 6.5 hours. Not our sun, mind you. Slam. Pitch black except for the mild glow of your video readout system in front of you. You've done this a dozen times in the sim classes. No sweat. Just a few short hours of sleep, recharge, and then the moment of glory. But this time, it's for real. It's also time to think. You recall your first official day of training, your unit commander discussing how these damn parasites made it to Earth and other nearby colonies in the first place. By employing our best satellites and long-range scanners, we learned how they traveled light years so quickly. The Strogg use these black hole-like gateways as their highway to heaven. We still don't know if they created these rips in the fabric of space and time or if they simply discovered them by accident. Either way, it's just like opening the door to an all-you-can-eat restaurant for these bastards. In about 2 hours, we'll be entering the same interstellar portals to hit them where it hurts, on their own turf. You close your eyes and relish this thought. Eventually, you nod off to low hypnotic hum of the troop carrier. That's the first 2 of 5 pages, chat. Crackle. Greetings to the people of the Coalition. This is Flag Admiral Crockett, speaking to you from the bridge deck of Phobos. We're entering the outer orbits of Strogos, the alien's home system. As we had postulated, Strogos' atmosphere is harsh but breathable. We expect to make planetfall soon. Now is the time to switch on your debriefing panel if you need it. Boomer? The voice cracks through every soldier's headset. Drop X-ray squad and 30 on my mark. You copy? Roger that. In another pod, your sergeant snaps back. Okay, boys and girls, you see the clock on your heads up? 2 demerits for anyone who upchucks during bounce and roll. Thunk. Your drop pod is shot from the side of the carrier and hurtles downward. Woo! Incendiary atmosphere howls past the pod's rapidly heating shell. Kawump! The pod wall suddenly buckles to your right, but stays intact. Another pod must have clipped yours on its way in. ECM didn't indicate enemy fire. Shit. Thrusters and stabilizing gyros are fading. Based on the pings, the other pods are pulling away. Below you, the large alien city roars into focus on the screen. But where are the other pods? They were there a minute ago. Suddenly, distorted radio chatter lights up. Mayday, mayday, lost all power, shields failing, missed TZ, some kind of EMP. We're dropping like flies. And then silence. Damn, if the Strogg have electromagnetic pulse defenses and we failed to detect them, all of us are in the shitter. That huge blip has to be the big gun. You do a slow dogleg left as your nav comp finds a place to land when all of a sudden retros kick in and propel you south. What the? Before you know it, you skip across the lip of a crater and slam into a structure a good distance away from your target. Dazed and bleeding from a head cut, you toggle open the labeled arsenal bins and reach where your gear ought to be stowed. Damn. Nothing but your sidearm. Damn again. You leap out the crushed pod door alone with blaster in hand and tear off into the room with the bittersweet stench of vengeance coursing through your veins. So basically what they did is they wrote their own narration, scene by scene, for the intro video that you get when you start a game of Quake 2, because all that happens in the intro. You're in a drop pod. I think there's a bit of background information about the war against the Strogg. Your ship appears in orbit over Strogos. All your pods get dropped. You get clipped. Everyone else goes on ahead and vanishes. And then you get a really neat flyby of the big gun before landing somewhere off in the distance. My favorite parts of Quake 2 is the radio chatter you get from command sometimes. Yeah, it was well done. The atmosphere of Quake 2 is really well done. I know a lot of people aren't real keen on the level design and the pacing of it, but I am personally. So this is I gotta say, this is a really nice manual. It's not written in character. It's after that point, it's very functional. But yeah, it's got a really nice aesthetic to it. Also, this is the section on dying, if you're curious. Oh, what's up, Tradon? I see you there. Did that game get any ports? If you're talking about Quake 2, Quake 2 did get a... Oh, God. It did get a console port onto something. And now, of course, there's an RTX version of it, if you have it on Steam or wherever. Is there weapon art? So I will say about halfway through the manual, it goes back to in-character stuff, which is nice. Different briefing logs and rundowns on the Strogg. Strogg civilization is governed through a system of warlords. Each is given strategic locations of command and control. A single leader called the Macron is chosen from the warlords. He commands Stroggos from within the palace city located at the northern end of Cerberon. Losing him would leave the Strogg confused and in turmoil as the warlords battle internally to determine a successor. This would remove any chances Stroggos has for creating a well-organized striker defensive position. There might be something on your camera that you have a light reflecting. Yeah, I have a light reflecting on me. It's from one of these. Let me see. Can you see? It's one of these back here. I know if I shake this, it moves. So it's fine. Oh shit, they do. Here you go. I mean, it's just the in-game models, but they still have weapon stuff. It's our crosshair chat. I really like the Quake 2 weapons as well. They have a rundown of all the items, which is nice. Holy shit, hang on a second. Wow, and they run down all of the enemies. Like every single one. Except for the bosses, but yeah, they go all the way through the tanks. The tanks and the tank commanders. That's really cool. It's been a frustrating day. Glad to be here to chill tonight, though. You came to the right place at the right time, Tradon, because we're just hanging out, looking at old video game manuals and discussing the good old days. Quake 2 had the Hyper Blaster versus the Gooder chain gun. I completely agree, Eva. I fucking love the Hyper Blaster. That was such a fun weapon. So, what do you suppose they had to say about the ultimate doom in this surprisingly proportioned manual? Here's what they had to say. Please don't make illegal copies. Please? And then there's a whole page of the story so far. Marine, one of Earth's toughest. Transferred to Mars, home of the Union Aerospace Corporation. Teleportation experiments and stuff, yada yada yada. The story so far, it's Doom. Well, see, back in the day, back when the Ultimate Doom came out, not everybody knew Doom. It wasn't ubiquitous as it is now. They have a guide on installing it. Oh, it's great. Here, installing Doom. Doom is too large to run from a floppy disk. So before playing, you must first install Doom to your hard disk drive. To install Doom, follow these steps. 1, make a backup copy of your original disks. 2, put disk number 1 into your floppy disk drive and select the appropriate drive by typing A: or B:, then press the enter key. Wow, imagine the luxury of having 2 floppy disk drives. I never had a B drive, chat. Type install at the prompt and press the enter key. Follow the prompts to create a directory for Doom and install it on your hard drive. After installation, Doom will automatically run a setup program. Follow the prompts to customize Doom to your specific system. Please refer to your hardware manual for information regarding your system. To start Doom, go to the directory in which you've installed Doom. The default is Doom_SE. Type Doom and press the enter key. If you have finished installation setup, you are automatically in this directory. The static was too big to fit on one disk. It fit on 15. Yeah, this was the dot. Wait, no, hang on. Was this the floppy version? I thought I had a, it must be. Otherwise, they just gave me the wrong manual for it. By the way, we went all the way through the soundtrack I picked for tonight. Skip another one. Doom is too big, can run on a calculator. Do you know about the story about 3D port of Doom? Yes, that is infamous. It's so interesting too. I guess I did have the floppy version of Ultimate Doom. The DOS floppy version of Ultimate Doom. Also, at the bottom of this page, the object of the game. Chat, do you need a refresher on what the object of Doom is? Welcome to Doom, a lightning-fast virtual reality adventure where you're the toughest space trooper ever to suck vacuum. Your mission is to shoot your way through a monster-infested holocaust, living to tell the tale if possible. The gameplay for Doom is quite simple. This is not a cumbersome adventure game, but an action-oriented slugathon. You don't need the reflexes of a hyperactive 8-year-old to win either. Using your wits is, and this is in all caps, important. To escape Doom, you need both brains and the killer instinct. Suck what? Yeah, you know. I don't think you suck vacuum. I think vacuum sucks you. Stop for a moment, I have a request. What is it? What is it, Trade-On? I feel like a Marine who sucked vacuum would just be dead. Guess the term first-person shooter didn't exist then. I don't think so. I don't think it did. I honestly don't remember when that was coined. I see that little dot now. Where is... Hang on, I know it's one of these over here. Oh. Something I'm doing clears it up. The air is moving from a place of high pressure to low pressure, so really vacuum blows you. The PDF of the Daggerfall manual lets you copy and paste the text. Say it doesn't get it right in the slightest. Oh wow. Pull up a speedrun video of the first stage of OG Doom while I was playing. Read about Doom blurb that tells you what kind of game it is. I think we've all seen that Trade-On, and yes, you can run through Doom in absolutely absurd amounts of time. And in fact, if you're going for like the developer times, I think you have to. So, but I also think that this is from a time when they were trying to get Doom to appeal to a wider audience, because this is basically a re-release, right? It's a re-release of the original Doom with an additional episode. So I think they were mainly trying to reach a wider audience with this release. What else is in here? Anything interesting? I mean, they got some nice images of the weapons and the items and the stuff. To be fair, I always play FPS games. I take my time and take out every enemy before moving forward, so it begins. Yeah, me too. Me too. I don't tend to go really fast unless it's like mechanically necessary. Shotguns deliver a heavy punch at close range and generous pelting from a distance. Chain guns direct heavy firepower in your opponent, making him do the chain gun cha-cha. That's the official term. Rocket launchers deliver an explosive rocket that can turn several baddies inside out. Plasma rifles shoot multiple rounds of plasma energy, frying some demon butt. And BFG 9000 is the prize of the military's arsenal. Great for clearing the room of those unwelcome guests. Shoot it and see for yourself. They got some movement tech. Dangerous Doom environment. Some parts of the Doom environment can be more dangerous than the monsters you'll face. I wonder if they mentioned this in the Duke Nukem 3D manual. Because the levels themselves in Duke Nukem 3D are infinitely more lethal than the enemies you fight. Areas containing exploding barrels, reactive waste, or crushing ceilings should be approached with caution. Crushing ceilings. Some of the ceilings in Doom can smash you, make you cry blood. Often you'll be able to see the ceilings moving before you go under it, but not always. Be careful and save often. Armor, power-ups, artifacts. Oh, they've even got the enemies outlined for you. And note, the above illustrations are not drawn to scale. Lost souls, dumb, tough, flies, on fire, nuff said. I like the one for the imps. You thought an imp was a cute little dude in a red suit with a pitchfork. Where did these brown bastards come from? They heave balls of fire down your throat and take several bullets to die. It's time to find a weapon better than that pistol if you're gonna face more than one of these SOBs. Danger Doom. Former humans. Just a few days ago, you're probably swapping war stories with some of these guys. Now it's time to swap some lead upside their head. So yeah, pretty short manual, only 13 pages. But it is nice and comprehensive for what Doom is, and Doom is undeniably straightforward. I will still save scum when I play Daggerfall, because fuck being softlock. I like the Daggerfall manual beginning with something saying not to save scum, and if you fail, sometimes it leads to more interesting scenarios. The instruction manuals, I got a repro copy of the manual of Rocket Knight Adventures recently to complete your copies. Wild had those like 2 entire pages dedicated to story, background, and character lore. It literally never comes up or even comes into play in the actual game. It is, I honestly find it pretty neat when games do that. When the developers actually go out of their way to put as much story as they can into the manual, because I guess for whatever reason they couldn't do it with the actual game. I certainly appreciate the effort. Shifting genres again. We've been talking about Wing Commander lately. Here is the manual for Wing Commander Academy, the TCSN Academy Simulator Handbook. And I just noticed on the back is the Wingman's Creed. Who remembers the Aussie commercial? Wow, I do. I do. Oh my god, you guys just unlocked a memory of me reading the Big Red Racing Manual. Together we fight, united by a bond of courage, a bond of daring, a bond of friendship. Without my wingman, I am nothing. Without me, my wingman is nothing. Only together can we achieve what our cause has called us to complete. For our beliefs we fight, against the menace that has risen. My wingman is my guardian, and I am my wingman's guardian. With my wingman by my side, I will not fear death or destruction. I will not feel the eyes of hate resting upon us. I will fly my ship strong and straight, never doubting that my wingman is there to protect me. So what's this one got? Oh my god, this one has text for ants. Jesus Christ. Who here knows about the Wing Commander cartoon? Not I. Y'all, I can't read this. The text in this is micro-fucking-scopic. I only fly my ship by. Took place in the Academy setting? Huh, this is actually written in first person from the instructor's perspective. In my opinion, the TCSN Flight Simulator is by far the most important educational tool this academy has to offer. The simulator will not only teach you how to fly, but more importantly, it will show you how to survive. What's up, Bub? I see you're acquainted with my good friend, RTFM. Our best friend. So yeah, if you've never played Wing Commander Academy, this was basically the game. You have the computer console where you design your own mission. And I mean, you're not really designing a mission, you're just populating a starscape with different kinds of enemies. There are randomizer and gauntlet options. Select your wingman, which, as we saw from the Creed, is of peak importance. Manual is written by Kazinti. You can save missions to floppy disks. Ooh, that's cool. If you want to save a mission on a floppy disk, you must first save the mission in one of the allocated slots. Note the slot numbers of the missions you're transferring to floppy, then exit to DOS on the simulator computer and insert a disk into the desired disk drive. From the C prompt, type cd/WCA/missions. To copy onto your disk, type copy C:\/WCE/missions/mission.mission number space destination drive. Text in the manual could be Lorem Ipsum for all we can see of it. Yeah. In the cockpit. They do have a handy diagram for making sense of the Wing Commander radar, like showing you different configurations of ships and how that will appear on your radar display, which is nice. I don't find the Wing Commander radar to be particularly intuitive. Did you ever play the Privateer games? The first one was absolutely a Wing Commander game. The second one loses the Wing Commander stuff. That was Clive Owen and John Hurt. Now, okay, I know I've mentioned this before, but just as a reminder, this is the only Wing Commander game I had ever played. I only had Academy when I was a kid. And those of you that have played Academy will probably understand when I say Academy didn't really inspire me to seek out the other Wing Commander games. So unfortunately, yeah, sucks to me, unfortunately, for a number of reasons. Here's the spacecraft of the Terran and Kilrathi fleets, with some nice diagrams and stats and whatnot. See all that shit there? Let's zoom in on one of these. You can see that. Not a manual. The Vita release of EZ8 had a funny oversight where the back of the box text was just placeholder that said something like, "I'm sorry to leave you, but I have to buy a hat." That's weird. First one's great. All I remember, the second's FMV and some kind of weapon that drops a nuke and then sends you forward in time. What the fuck? So I think the rest of the manual is just, oh no, they have some breakdowns of weapons, missiles, guns, laser cannon, mass driver, neutron gun, particle cannon, photon gun, plasma bolt, reaper cannon, turret gun, other systems, general combat strategies. They give you a diagram of how to do an afterburner slide, which I guess is a maneuver you could do. Not that you would know it from the way the simulator expresses things. And here's a diagram on how you can destroy a capital ship. Basically fly at it, turn away, fly away from it, turn back, fly at it again. Ash, I'm sorry to leave you, must buy a hat. Whoa, this is interesting. They actually have wingman profiles. I guess the different wingmen that you can take. We can destroy capitalism? No, just their ships, unfortunately. It's sad, but there you are. Maniac, Hobbs, Angel, Lightspeed, and their profiles are written in the voice of the trainer. Tiger Man? That is Hobbs, obviously named Calvin and Hobbs. The Kilrathi ace who defected to the Terran Confederation because he was disgusted by the ruthless expansionism of the Kilrathi Empire. Many fighter pilots refused to fly with him because they were suspicious of his motives and saw him as a traitor. After I got to know Hobbs, I was fortunate enough to fly several missions with him. He's one of the most formidable pilots I have ever known. Small wonder that the Kilrathi Empire is such an awesome foe when they were fighting with pilots of Hobbs's caliber. With his brilliant piloting and dogfighting skills, as well as his loyalty and dependability as a wingman, he's the epitome of everything a fighter pilot should be. I incorporated him into the simulation program because Hobbs' example will teach you the merits of an accomplished and loyal wingman and show you the gifts of a rare pilot. Don't be racist for the Tiger Man. He enjoys long walks on the beach and fried chicken. Wing Commander 3 has to deal with the racism? Yikes. All right, what else we got back here? I have the instruction manual and the release notes for Worms 2, which I guess I own. I guess I would have to. Man, cause in wars was never. What? I love how no matter what space science fiction you look at, there's always some kind of race that's just furry, but we've never heard of a furry before. Could you imagine, like, if we were ever visited by an alien race and it was like the Kilrathi or the Kachins or the like just some kind of space cat people? Like, humanity is gonna lose its mind on so many levels. Okay, so apparently I have the Windows 95 version of Worms 2. Introduction, they're back, they're crazy, and they're ready for action. The sequel to the highly successful Worms. I mean, Manuel, you don't have to sell me on it. I obviously already bought it. Worms 2 gives you all the outrageous features and addictive gameplay of the original and some things you wouldn't believe. Worms 2 is a multiplayer game that blends no-holds-barred action, strategy, and sheer outrageous fortune, meaning you can play for 20 minutes or 20 hours. No games of Worms 2 is ever the same, making it endlessly entertaining. Up to 6 teams can battle it out on the same machine, local network, or on the internet, making it the ideal party game. Doesn't matter how you play it, once you're hooked, you'll always come back for more. A word of caution. As a new player, you may be overwhelmed by the addictive gameplay and great graphics of Worms 2 and miss out on many of the game's great features. Like, did somebody from marketing write this shit? Why are you trying to sell me on the game I already bought? The art style in here is pretty appropriate. And they apparently saw fit to put like fake coffee stains and whatnot on the pages. Remember the pre-rendered cutscenes in Worms 1? I do. Breakdowns of all the weapons, the menu system, advanced messaging, troubleshooting, playing over the internet, all that exciting stuff. Do you think the hypothetical cat people would be freaked out by the fact that we keep cats? Depends on if they see any real similarity between them and us. I mean, we don't freak out at the fact that we keep like gorillas and orangutans in enclosures, despite how similar they are to humans. I want my country to be invaded by Khajiit, unironically, and I'm not even furry. In Arknights, one of the Rainbow Six crossover characters has a skin where she's wearing a special hat to make her look like a cat person, so there's at least one sci-fi saying where not being an animal is weird. Yeah, exactly, depressed cat. Y'all ever read the Final Fantasy IX strategy guide because it's not fucking useless? Oh, is it one of those stupid... If it's from the era of Play Online, yeah, they were terrible about that. All right, I'm gonna dig out some weird manuals that I put aside for a second. Hang on. Okay, I just found two things. The first thing I'm going to show you is a game you probably never heard of. Straight up, honestly, has anyone in chat ever heard of this game? Oh, hey, sheep. I know of sheep, like the animals or the game. Dave, you know any manuals that had to be recalled? I've never heard of that. You actually know the game. Look at this shit. It's from Empire. Sheep the Kirby's have hands. Nice intro page. Sometimes in the Earth's early history, visitors from a distant galaxy left some of their kind to observe and nurture its primitive emerging life forms. Over countless millions of years, their descendants lost sight of their lofty task and became one with their surroundings, indistinguishable from Earth creatures. The true inhabitants could not know that amongst them lived a vastly superior life force, one that had evolved to a mental and physical state far beyond their comprehension. Sheep. Many eons ago, the ancestors of today's modern sheep were sent out across the galaxy from the sheep home star system of Ovis Aries. A few of these explorers landed on a small green and blue planet called Earth. Their mission was to pose as passive creatures, taking the details of their habitat into their group consciousness. However, wallowing in the grass and sunshine, the sheep soon forgot about their mission, and they slowly became domesticated by men. The sheep on Earth diversified in many different breeds, including the mysterious and evil killer sheep and the fabled golden sheep. Now the sheep ancestors have returned to Earth from Ovis to reclaim their lost flocks. To achieve this without fear of attracting the unwanted attention of man, they abduct several Earth inhabitants to supplant desires in their minds, to round up all sheep and bring them to the fabled Mount Mouflon for the journey home. The alien sheep have planned a series of rewards along the way, guide points, as well as sheep-enhancing technology, converters, which will help the sheep survive their heists. Okay, so it's a puzzle game. You play a brainwashed human who is herding docile sheep. Here are the herders and the different sheep breeds across top-down puzzle maps so they can be abducted by their alien brethren. You should play Galapagos. That's a weird old game. Big gimmick because the main character's AI controlling fuck with the environment to help them. It's released in 1997, so you know the AI is going to be good. It's kind of like Lemmings 3D, yeah. I wonder if this game is available anywhere, or if I would just have to try and install it off my CD and pray it actually works. I don't remember this being a particularly compelling game. Multiplayer of this game involves using your human folks to attempt to herd your team of sheep in order to push a soccer ball in your opponent's goal. There's a PSX port. Okay, we could, in theory, play that. But yeah, extremely thin manual for, I mean, frankly, an extremely thin game. Again, only 12 pages. But yeah, sheep. I totally forgot this game existed. Sheep is coming soon on Steam for years, maybe GOG. But no, that's interesting. I bet you don't know what this is. I didn't realize what this was until I started really reading into it, but it's a fold-out. It's a big fold-out sheet. It's a poster, I guess. I could put it up on the wall. Yeah, look at that. If you can make out any of those weapons, you might be able to figure out what game this is for. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Yeah, this is when Carmen Sandiego made off with a flamethrower. What's up, Stargazer? What an incredible contribution to the stream. Medal of Honor? Not quite, not quite. Weapons of terror. These weapons are most favored by terrorists and ordinary criminals worldwide. Most are also in use by legitimate military or law enforcement organizations. GTA 2, OG Call of Duty. We got an assault rifle, an assault shotgun, a baton, combat knife, electromagnetic pulse grenade, flamethrower, gas grenade. If I read the next one, you're gonna know what it is instantly. Halo 3 ODST had a really cool manual, if I recall. It was written in Universe's Field Operations Briefing with lots of cool stuff. Depressed Cat got it. This is a big fold-out page for Deus Ex. Up at the top here, it says Know Your Enemy, NSF. Over here, this sheet is the origins of UNATCO. It also has a full cast list down here. And then on the back, yeah, here we go. The Midnight Sun. FEMA to detain 6 million Americans. UN gets serious with Frenchies. Chinese gang war and you thought we had it tough. Grey death spreads to rural communities. It's a fake newspaper, chat. It's a fake newspaper for the Deus Ex universe. I love box inserts like this. I've got a bunch of stuff like this. I mean, some of it's obviously up on the walls right now. Oh no, JC, a bomb. Oh my God, a bomb. I've got a bunch more stuff like that in this pile. I just need to find it. Like this feels fold outy. Yeah, I have a fold out for, Dungeon Keeper 2. It's really just like a quick reference card. Like this is a reference for the main interface. This is references for the keys. And then inside is actually how you attract different creatures. What rooms attract what creatures. So that's handy. It's also nice and glossy too. So I used to tell you how to spend gems for more moves. You're thinking of a much later Dungeon Keeper. Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb. What do we have here? What do we have here? We have a keyboard. Let me see. Okay, it's for a flight sim. Command console, navigator console, weapon console. I know what this is for. Lateral thrust, cycle orb display, fire LDSI missile, LDS on off, select weapon PBC, activate TRI control. I'll be shocked if that means anything to anybody in chat. Haven't had any lasting effects post-COVID, have you? Not that I've noticed, no. Hopefully it stays that way. Latter-day Saints on and off. It's not Mech Warrior. LDS is linear displacement system, if I remember. I think the big giveaways, if you've ever played this game, are the function keys. There are shortcuts for the command console, the navigator console, the weapon console, the engineer console, autopilot docking, autopilot match velocity. Recall one of the Fable manuals having a page on condoms for some reason. What the fuck? Oh yeah, condoms were an item in Fable because you could get married and fuck in that. And you actually had to wear condoms if you didn't want to have offspring or something. Fable games are so weird. It's not Star Trek, it's not Free Space, it's not EVE Online. God, I don't even... Does EVE Online even have keyboard shortcuts? This is the keyboard layout for Independence War, which is a one of the most unique and interesting space combat sims I've ever played. Used to try to play this game called Battle Cruiser 3080. Wasn't that the Derek Smart game? Feel bad for the kid who got their sex ed from a Fable manual. Yeah, I think it's terrible. I want to go back and try it again. Use vulgar thrust some more. Yeah, the instruction manual for Independence War should be in here somewhere. I'm probably just gonna gloss over this one. I have the manual for Giant Citizen Kabuto, which I'm sure you all remember we played on a recent wheel night, and wow, that game hasn't aged well. It does have a nice thick manual though. Nice and thick. Looks like 75 pages. Yeah, basically there's two dense pages of background story. Guys, be careful lest we summon Derek Smart in chat to yell at us all. We're talking about Star Citizen, it'll be fine. The cast of characters, the Mechrans, the Sea Reapers, Kabuto himself, the Smarties, Vimps, Reaper Guards, Sonak. There's a lot of pretty unique characters in this. Critters and things, interface. So basically they had to, if you don't remember Giant Citizen Kabuto, is basically an asymmetrical kind of a real-time strategy game played from third person. And the three different factions played entirely differently. The Mecharans had like guns and technology, can build proper bases. The Sea Sirens used magic, and I don't think they had as much base stuff. And then Kabuto is just a big giant who stomped around, smashed things. What's up, Freegalit? Missed proper manuals. One of my fondest memories as a kid was to read the manual to a newly purchased game while riding the hour-long trade ride home. You can get Kabuto on Goggins, worth it. We have it, we played it. The sensibilities of it have not aged well. There's some humor in it I really didn't appreciate. No doubt it's a very unique and interesting game, but yeah. Sea Sirens use eroticism. I think in the original release, they're all topless, aren't they? I think there was like a patch where they were edited to have some kind of breast covering or something. The only thing you hate about it was the races. Ta-da! OG Command and Conquer game manual. Not the original release of Command and Conquer. This was from their I want to say no. I guess Command and Conquer 2 wasn't out yet, because there's an ad for Tiberian Sun on the back. This was for the CD-ROM release, and I'm pretty sure the original release of... Wait, no. Was the original release of Command & Conquer on floppy? Because I don't think they would have been able to get that FMV on floppy. Maybe this is the original release. I'm not sure now. Ladies went baps. Can I just make the observation? I just really love the term baps. I never use the term baps, but I always get a kick out of other people using it. Do you have the manual for Renegade? Yes. I bought Renegade on release. What do we got here? Wow, look at this page. That's a nice glossy page here. We have waited centuries for this moment. The rivers will flow with the blood of those who oppose us. Cain, suspected leader of the Brotherhood of Nod. Don't discount FMV on insanely limited storage. Think it was Sonic 3D Blast on Sega Genesis. Did that do like FMV stuff? Oh god, it's Endief. Yesterday I farted in the Apple store and everyone got upset with me. It's not my fault they don't have... I always feel so bad when I laugh at your jokes. They're terrible. Speaking of FMV unlimited storage, have you ever seen GBC Cannon Fodder? That is full FMV intro, no kidding. My absolute favorite manuals ever is the one for Homeworld. Oh, I got that. Right here, in fact. There you go. Nice, shiny, thick Homeworld manual. We'll get to that one eventually. That's in the big pile on the floor. The piles over here, are just the small manuals. All the big manuals are behind me. What do we got here? So I will say, like, I remember Westwood had insanely immersive, like, installers and UIs for their games. The manual is very straightforward. The original CNC manual is very, very straightforward. Some small black and white pictures, some basic descriptions of them. Yeah, it's just, this is just purely informative, really. How to work the interface, how to set up multiplayer games. The structures, see here, they really could have expanded a lot more on the structures, but it's basically just this, it's the stats, really. It's the name, what faction they're for, their armor, their power usage, their purpose. And then the blurb is like Hand of Nod. This building creates elite infantry units for the Brotherhood of Nod. No fluff. Origin also had great manuals for their games. I'm not sure I have any Origin ones. I'll have to check. I mean, I probably do. They took a picture of an actual dude for the troopers. The grenade infantry. Minigun infantry you can't really see. He's like facing away. In fact, I think the minigun infantry is CGI. And then grenade infantry, they just took a picture of some mustachioed dude. And then they gave him a rocket launcher for this one. That's so funny. Look, oh look, it's an engineer, chat. It's everybody's best friend, the engineer. Oh good, I didn't miss all the hot reading a book action. You certainly didn't, Grunfodder. You certainly didn't. What else do we have? All right, and then we get into the vehicles. The vehicles are all CGI. Some better than others. When you get to the back, there's a big troubleshooting section, support, the cast. Yep, Command and Conquer, ladies and gentlemen. I do own the Command and Conquer re-release on Steam. I'd like to get back to playing that someday. It's fun. Ultima game manuals are total bangers with lore and fun details. I wish I had some physical copies of Ultima. Unfortunately, I never got into them as a kid, so. Please tease us by reading one page of the Skulljagger. I don't have the Skulljagger novella. I don't have it. I don't own it. I don't own a physical copy of Skulljagger. Sorry. Well, since it was specifically mentioned, let's get the good old Homeworld manual out here. Ooh, wow. Look for these other exciting titles from Sierra. We got 3D adventure in King's Quest Mask of Eternity. We got 3D action in Half-Life, and we got city simulation in Caesar 3. I own 2 of these games, chat. Also coming soon, Half-Life Opposing Force, Pharaoh, Gabriel Knight 3, and SWAT 3 Close Quarters Battle. I at least own Opposing Force. The really shit King's Quest game. Okay, this is probably one of the nicest manuals I've ever seen in my life. It is just, for one thing, it is really solid. It is extremely solid. For another, it's not full color, but they use these blue highlights to amazing effect in here. I mean, this is just a huge amount of world building and backstory here. And laid out in a really neat way. It is, dude, it is a damn book. It is 115 pages long. 115 pages. Mail Tide Mirror's reading material for a 5-hour ride when you're a kid. I mean, yeah, there's a lot to dig into here. I mean, right on page 1, question of origins. The debate over our past on this world reaches back through the entire documented history of civilization, a period covering over 1,300 years. The harsh conditions across the world, Karak, and then it has a footnote there that pops out into its own paragraph on the Karakid environment. Looks like car dealership model booklet, yeah. Names are shown on screen, we can request them right now, yeah. Unfortunately, we are not playing by Power Hours rules. I wonder which game has the longest manual saying DCS is cheating. Probably Falcon 4.0. That's what I've always heard. I've always heard the Falcon 4.0 manual has never been beaten. There's a nice artist rendition of the mothership, not a diagram. So this straight up has, hang on. 18 pages. 18 pages of backstory. Giving you the background on Karak, the discovery of artifacts and indications that the people are not native to that planet, and the construction of their fleet that will take them to the point of origin. And then you get to clan histories. More background on the Karakid social system. The Kith Galcian. The Kith Soban. Kith Nabal. Kith Manan. Okay, so we're now up to 40 straight pages of lore. Like, that's it, just lore. Oh, we finally made it to the gameplay guide now. And here is the sub table of contents for actually learning how to play the game after you've read 40 pages of lore. One of the old school flight manuals must be the winner of Thickest Manual Award. Yeah, for sure. If I made a game with a physical manual, I'd make it have a really elaborate, fantastic cover and then open to a big middle finger, then back cover. Sounds like you, Eva. Sounds like you to a T. Which shame the new mothership for the upcoming game is less banana and more Star Destroyer. I mean, look, people love Star Destroyers, okay? And there ain't nothing wrong with that. It does not appear that the actual game instruction... Wow, we got flowcharts. We got flowcharts you have to turn the book vertical for. Lore before data. I see what you did there, Bumfuzzled. Oh, no, wait. Actually, this entire section of the manual is vertical. It's on-screen diagrams and menus and stuff. That's pretty cool. And then what's this? And then you get ship data. Yeah, that's the stuff. Scouts, interceptors, defenders. I always thought it was interesting that you could play as two different factions in this game, and for the most part, they were identical. But they had a few unique ships. Like the Kushan had the cloaked fighters, and the Taidan had the defense fighters. I mean, ultimately, it was really just which aesthetic did you like more? Did you want your ships to look like tubes or like spikes? Blurb about how the hyperspace core was inscribed with the names of people who died during the construction of the mothership always felt like such an emotional thing to put in the lore. Yes, that is an amazing detail, to be sure. Kushan. Oh, you're right. Yes, the Kushan had the drone frigate. The Taidan had the defense field frigate. So I guess the Kushan was a more offensive style of fleet, and the Taidan was a bit more defensive. Oh God, ion cannon frigates. I remember the mission with the sphere of enemy ion cannon frigates that if you could punch a hole in it, you could capture just dozens, if not 100 ion cannon frigates. That was so cool. Yeah, and then their capitals are all very similar. The whole idea of the plot was fantastic. A pilgrimage against all odds and wishes of the galaxy to get some closure for civilization. It really is. It really is. Yeah, Homeworld is a very, very interesting game. Technologies. This breaks down the different technologies you can research over the course of the game. And credits. Yep. Hell of a manual. Just the cover. Just the cover of this thing is absolutely beautiful. It's so sleek, it's so simple. Just a lovely, lovely piece here. Kushan forever. Homeworld was basically Battlestar Galactica that didn't crap out in the last season. Yeah, it really was. It really was. It was a really neat, hard sci-fi take on the Battlestar Galactica concept. And I think it really worked. And obviously other folks do. I think we're all in agreement here. Homeworld 2, on the other hand. Well, I do actually, hang on a sec. I want to talk about Homeworld for a second. Because I am woefully under experienced with the Homeworld series. I have the original Homeworld and I played a chunk of it. It got too hard for me. I never beat it. There was okay, so there was weren't there 3 like original Homeworlds? There was Homeworld 1. There was a standalone expansion that had like the infection. What was that? Homeworld Cataclysm? Was that what it was called? Excuse me. Where there was some kind of space-based infection taking over ships. And then there was Homeworld 2. The Beast. Hi, Emerald. It's okay. You're among friends here. Aged, decrepit friends, but we're here. Homeworld Cataclysm is now Homeworld Emergence? Okay. And then there was Homeworld 2. And then... were two Homeworld revival games, right? There was the land-based RTS, Deserts of Karak. And then did they actually make like a modern Homeworld? Cataclysm was far superior to Homeworld 2. Actually, I should probably just wiki this. Wikipedia will reveal all mysteries to me. Oh god, it really lit my face up too. Deserts of Karak was the prequel. Homeworld. Okay. Perception, Legacy, Remaster. Homeworld series, here we go. So main series is Homeworld 2, and then... Okay, Homeworld 3 is still scheduled to be released next year. Homeworld 2... Homeworld 2 is real soon after, actually. Okay. So the spin-offs are Cataclysm and Deserts of Karak. And then I know there's a mobile game now too, right? We can remember we're decentralized memory. I believe in you. I get it. I understand, but yeah. Okay, so there's really 5 Homeworld games then. Well, there's 4. 4 that have been released. Homeworld 1, Homeworld 2, Homeworld Cataclysm, and Deserts of Karak. I love the lore and aesthetic of the Homeworld series, but I loathe how they turn Karen's set into their mascot character of the entire series. Now, is that the AI lady who was merged into the carrier? If it is, I guess they wanted their own what's the Halo lady named? Person who became the mothership. Okay, yeah. They wanted their own what's the name of the sexy AI lady in Halo? Cortana, that's it. That's it. The AI lady who was inexplicably designed thirstier and thirstier with every Halo release. Alright, what else we got in the pile? What else are we looking at? What is this? Okay, that's quick reference. Alright, I have a stack of quick references. Like here are my quick reference cards for Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale. I want to find the actual manuals though. Those are the ones I want to talk about. Told you the wisdom of crowds. On average, we get it. She's now immortal, has mystical powers, her farts probably smells. This is, I have a fold out for something. I don't know what I have here. It is, okay. It is the structure and unit chart for the original Medieval Total War. It's all the different buildings and what they make, and then on the back there's another version. There's, I guess, the tech tree for all the buildings and stuff. I don't need to tell you, I didn't really get into the original Medieval Total War. Like, I loved Shogun Total War. And then Medieval just like felt like it expanded everything in all directions without without actually making it more fun. It just felt like more plates to spin. Rome I really liked. I used to be a really big Total War guy. I loved the original Shogun Total War, and I loved the original Rome Total War. After that, I think the last Total War game I seriously played was probably Medieval 2. And I was okay with that. But like, I've tried to play the more recent ones. Like I always wanted to get into Shogun 2, but I've tried and I can't do it. I have one of the Total Warhammer games, and it's really neat, but I'm like too dumb for it. Played the Napoleonic Total War game a bunch. Nice. I remember there was Empire Total War, and that kind of hurt the series. Like, people weren't really into that one. But then I think the one after that was like Napoleon Total War, and I think that was the one that kind of like redeemed it. Oh, you can't get into Shogun 2 because you can only have one Shogun. Ah, of course, I'm so stupid. Let me see if I can find the manual for one of these Total Wars. That's another thing. This is this Star There it is. There it is. The original release manual for Shogun Total War. I bought Shogun Total War the day it came out. I was amped for this game. I was so excited for this game. I played the shit out of this game. I have beaten this game. I actually got really lucky too. On release day, the electronics boutique where I bought it mislabeled it, and they put it on sale for like $30 or something. And I walked right in there. I grabbed that. I snatched that box right off the shelf. I took it up to the counter, and the dude was like, "Oh, damn. Oh, we really fucked that up." So he had to give it to me for the discounted price. But I saw as I was leaving, they went and they changed the labels. So yeah, I think I was the first person in Hickory, North Carolina to purchase Shogun Total War. And man, I loved this game. I love this game so much. Yeah, look at that. Before you ask, no, I can't read that kanji. The fools. Warhammer Total Wars are just great games. I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it, Freegalit. I am sure they're great. There is a lot of great things said about them. Excuse me. Something went down the wrong pipe. Oh God. This isn't congestion or anything. Oh God. I got too excited talking about old manuals and I swallowed something. Let's see, is any of this in character? I don't think so. The writing in this has a decent conversational style, but it's not like we're having oxygen connectivity issues. Yeah, this is very straightforward and informative, but again, you gotta remember, this was the first Total War game. So I think they needed to be as straightforward as they possibly could to make sure that people understood what they were doing. Here's a breakdown of some of the different units, strategic units, tactical units. Poor Oddish, I thought of Shoguns and died. But yeah, I'm wondering if maybe I've changed. It could be that the style of gaming that I enjoy has changed. Like I'm just not the target demographic for Total War games anymore, the way I was when I was younger. Or it could be the way the Total War games have changed. I haven't been able to keep up with them because they are far, far more complicated. This is a very straightforward game. You have a province, you can build upgrades in it, you build units, you shove your units into other provinces to take them over. The battle interface is very simple compared to more modern ones. So maybe these older Total Wars are just more my speed. They have breakdowns on terrain. I remember this game had pretty decent tutorials too. It did a pretty good job of teaching the tactical battle system. Total War games are too demanding for a poor laptop these days. Yeah, I remember trying Total Warhammer, and yeah, that game is incredibly graphics intensive. Kill him from the inside. Favorite RTS is that Crush, Kill, and Destroy? KKND? When you upgrade a building, it says pondering, and when it's done, it says building now smarter. That's awesome. I've never played that one, but I like the sound of it, certainly. What else is in here? What else do we have? Ooh, I wanted this. Ooh, I wanted this too. Okay. I got two neat ones that I've grabbed out of here. Let's start with this. I found the actual instruction manual for Tron 2.0, which I love this game. I think this is a really neat game. I really want to stream this game sometime. It's a very unique FPS. Excuse me. It's not usually this much focus on my face. I like Medieval 2, hated needing to burn heretics, probably why I like Thrones of Britannia. Religion is a non-issue in that one. I really wonder how they're gonna manage this Total War Egypt game. All right, so we got 40 odd page manual. Ooh, the introduction. All right, should I read this? I don't want to, okay, look. I have some homework for y'all. If you are here and you've never watched Tron, please watch Tron sometime in the near future. Tron 2.0, as the name implies, was intended to be a direct follow-up to the original Tron. Taking place a significant period later, 20 years later, in fact. But yeah, their idea was to follow up on the original Tron story, which of course then got overwritten by Tron Legacy. But whatever, it's not like the game ceased to exist. Let's see, what do they got in here? Tron cartoon is great. I never saw the Tron cartoon, actually. Let's see. This is a lot of... This is pretty much all, like, menu breakdowns and stuff. Come on, get to the interesting shit. Default keyboard keys. Heads-up display. I mean, it is good that they explain this because this game does have a pretty unique HUD and interface. There's a whole page on how your crosshair works because that's actually important. Yeah. Wasn't it made by the No One Lives Forever developers? Yeah, I want to say yes. I really want to say yes. Come on. Where's your fucking info on the people who made this? Everyone catch a really good Jeff Bridges trot. Yeah, I saw that. Published by Buena Vista Interactive. Why won't they talk about who fucking made this game? I'm gonna lose my goddamn mind here. They won't talk about who made it in the manual. They only talk about Buena Vista Entertainment, a subsidiary of Disney. Where was I in this? Okay, so yeah, this is in fact a very, very dry breakdown of the game, which is fair. It is fair because it's a kind of complicated game. It's pretty unique. Here's the section on weapons, which are known as primitives in this game. You have more than just the disc. You have the rod, the ball, and the mesh. And then those can be further enhanced with subroutines, I think. I don't remember. Game manual, this is a manual? Yeah. Yeah, it's the subroutines that expand your weapons and stuff. We gotta play this game. It's so cool. It's such a neat game. Here's some of the enemies that feature. Hankering for some sci-fi RPG games for quite a while now. I'm just so damn tired of the old fantasy setting by now. I could not agree more, Freegalit. I've never really been a big fan of high fantasy. I will put up with it for a really good game, but I always prefer a more creative setting, or at the very least, sci-fi. So yeah, we are gonna stream this sometime. It's such a neat game. The other manual that was laying right under it is the Morrowind manual, which is a unique fantasy setting, which I very, very much appreciate. This is also a really nice manual. This is also a really nice, really pretty manual. Pretty. It's interesting. It's thick, but it's not actually as thick as you would expect for something with the scope of Morrowind. It's only about 48 pages. And that seems to be because it just goes through the mechanic. Didn't mean to shake the desk that hard. Sorry. Morrowind absolutely has one of the coolest settings ever. And you know what? They don't even, there's like no lore in this. The introduction is an introduction to the game. The essence of any Elder Scrolls role-playing game has always been simple: let you do what you want and make sure you have fun doing it. Huge, detailed, and open-ended are words that frequently come up when talking about Arena, Daggerfall, and now Morrowind. We don't believe a good role-playing game should restrict you from making choices, even if they're bad ones. Go ahead and play a wizard that wears heavy armor. You can do it, but remember it's another skill to learn and might take time away from your magical studies. One of the first questions people usually ask us is, what do I do in this game? The answer we give inevitably is, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to be a noble knight or a treacherous swine? Do you want people to like you? Do you want people to loathe and fear you? Do you prefer casting spells, wielding swords, or both? Want to plunder dungeons and tombs, rise to the head of a guild, gather information from everyone about everything? Whatever your interest, there's plenty for you to do. In a way, I kind of respect that a bit more than the lore introduction, because they're basically just running down the philosophy of the game. And for a game like Morrowind, that's pretty meaningful. That's actually pretty poignant. But yeah, everything else is just a breakdown of the menus and the map menus and all of these interfaces and stuff. What's up, console document? How you doing? I want to be a troll that lives under a bridge. Can I do that? I think actually you can, yeah. Here's the start of character creation, breaking down the races that you can be. Yes, Morrowind is a very racist game. Black people, as you know, are good at swords. They're just the best at swords. Attributes, derived attributes, breakdowns of all the skills, complete with color icons, so you know what you're looking at. Excuse me. You doing good? Glad to hear it. I am having a lovely evening. I've been really looking forward to tonight. We're usually playing something on this channel, either doing a full playthrough or going through some old console games or whatnot. Sitting here reading through old manuals, there's something just like incredibly zen about this. Hey, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. They actually talk about the different classes that you can be in this, even though class is kind of just like a made up concept in this. Wow, they even have a breakdown of weapons. They even talk a bit about the different weapon types and the kind of damage they do and whatnot. Not that you can see that really well. I really should invest in a better camera at some point. So many cross-platform games in that era seemed to suffer from console limitations, but it didn't seem to affect Morrowind at all. It really didn't. It's honestly kind of amazing that it runs on the Xbox and on PC and does everything that it does. Miss having spears as a weapon type in the Elder Scrolls games. Oh, it did suffer under memory limitations? Still though, the fact that you could play Morrowind on an Xbox is kind of amazing. There is 2 whole pages just devoted to the dialogue boxes, the dialogue windows. Pretty amazing. So yeah, very straightforward manual for a very not straightforward game, but you know what? It's probably for the best. With something like Morrowind, you just want people in the game doing stuff as fast as possible, and that's the kind of manual that'll get you there. Manual night is something I hope returns. Love the idea. I mean, I have so many. This isn't even all of them. We're not even gonna get through like 10% of the manuals I have. It will take yeah, it'll take many manual nights to get through all of these. I mean, some of these are just dense as hell too, and I haven't really touched the big ones on the floor. And yeah, if we run out, Internet Archive exists too. Absolutely, that's very true. Personally thought the original Xbox was better than the PS2. I think it all comes down to what games were on it, you know? It really comes down to what you could play on it at any given time. Let's see, what else we got back here? Okay. That's, these are some interesting options. Oh man, oh man. Oh man, oh. Do you know what this is? You used to have a pile of 2600 manuals, but I threw them out at some point. I mean, That's the other thing about tonight too. We're only doing PC game manuals. I have all the manuals for all of my console games too. From the NES, all the way through PS2. Here, get a really good look at that. You'd basically have to recognize the symbol, but honestly, you should, considering how long this game took us. We've streamed this game. Does that help? Looking at the original Xbox lately. Depressed Cat got it again. It's Undying. This is the manual for Clive Barker's Undying. Yeah, yeah, boy. Oh my God, it's so good. Oh my God, it's so good. Actually, you know what? You know what's crazy? This isn't the manual. This is not actually the manual. This is literally excerpts from the Journal of Jeremiah Covenant. This is just pure lore. It's pure lore. Look at it. It's so good. It looks so good. Undying is good, yeah. It's got, yep, got some. And you know what? Each of these, they don't, all the little detail stuff, all the scratches and blood stains around the edge of the pages, they don't repeat those. They're unique. They individually designed every page of this little journal. That's wild, man. That is wild. This is so nice. Now I gotta find the actual Undying manual. It's probably not nearly as cool as this, but yeah. Speaking of horror stuff, I need to play the Alone in the Dark demo. Wish I still had my Super Mario World manual from when I was a kid, where I cataloged everything Yoshi would swallow, including shit like keys and blood. Oh, that's awesome, Helvy. Yeah, there must have been. I think most Super Nintendo manuals had a notes page at the back. I love when game devs are allowed to put their love into details. Yeah, this is true love right here. This is all in on your game concept. That is singular. What else? Let's see. I was digging through here. So on a similar note, on a similar but very different note, actually, here's the instruction manual for Unreal Tournament 2004. The good one, mind you. I don't know if you're familiar with the saga of Unreal Tournament, but so when the original Unreal released, it was a huge landmark for graphics and level design, but it did have its faults, and one of its big faults was its weapons. People did not like the weapons in the original Unreal. They were weak and they sounded weak and crappy. I mean, some of them were definitely good, like the flak cannon, of course, was really good. But the design of them was just not there, unfortunately. So when they decided to make the multiplayer focused Unreal Tournament, they were like, okay, we're gonna this is like gonna be the main thing we focus on. And they punched up all the weapons, and the weapons look and feel amazing. So the original Unreal was a classic. It was a absolutely great multiplayer deathmatch game. It was a serious contender to Quake 3. Excuse me. Back when just straight deathmatch, just straight fragging was the order of the day. But times changed. Multiplayer games changed. Multiplayer modes changed. I think the rise of tribes caused a lot of people to think differently about the kind of multiplayer that they were doing, and so Unreal Tournament changed. So I believe the first sequel to Unreal Tournament was Unreal Tournament 2003, and that was a rather flawed game. It had some interesting game modes in it and some interesting changes to the formula, but it was limited in a lot of ways that Unreal Tournament wasn't. I just remember not enjoying it very much. Unreal Tournament 2004 basically fixed all of its problems. It brought back some weapons that were missing in 2003. It expanded the game modes. It added a really cool, I want to say it was called Onslaught, which was basically like a control point mode on an open map with vehicles. Actually, let me actually crack in here and see, because they should outline it in here. Combat modes is what we want. There we go. Combat modes. There are 10 modes of combat in Unreal Tournament 2004. Deathmatch, Team Deathmatch, Capture the Flag, Double Domination. Each level has 2 domination points. To score, you must capture both domination points. Keep them in your team's possession for 10 seconds. Bombing Run. I remember Bombing Run. Last Man Standing. Invasion is a wave mode. I don't think I ever played that. Mutant. Mutant game starts out as a free-for-all deathmatch. However, as soon as one player makes a kill, he becomes the mutant. Everyone else stops fighting and guns for the mutant instead. Okay. Assault. 2 teams, attackers and defenders, battle each other in the Unreal universe. Attackers. Oh, I remember Assault mode. I think maybe Unreal. Did the original Unreal Tournament have Assault mode? I think it might have. My memories are blending to. Okay, they did. Thank you, Depressed Cat. I'm not going insane here. Yeah, I think Assault was a really neat mode from Unreal Tournament. And then, yeah, 2004 expanded with Onslaught. We saved the best for last. Team battles for control of the expansive map. Use strategy, strength, and almighty arsenal to win. Each team starts the game with its own vehicles. You can't steal an enemy vehicle unless the enemy unlocks it first by getting into it. If your enemy leaves, I think Onslaught was supposed to be a direct answer to Tribes, because it felt a lot like a more focused, streamlined Tribes battle. Did you ever play Tabula Rasa? Was the game that Richard Garriott was fired from as CEO after they arranged to send him into space? They fired him while he was in space. I didn't know. No, what kind of game is Tabula Rasa anyway? Still a bit surprised nobody tried to resurrect the kind of gameplay that Space Rogue had. Open world space travel long and combat coupled with RPG elements while on foot should have a shot at resurrection. Freegalit, have you ever played Star Traders Frontiers? It might not be exactly what you're talking about, but it's definitely open world space travel and it's definitely RPG elements. An FPS MMO. Control point FPS in an MMO setting. Weird, okay. Kind of an odd concept, but okay. I will say this is a nice manual. It's full color. The pages are watermarked. Font's nice. Nice thick paper. It's also very straightforward. It's very straightforward and it's very technical, because it's a lot of basics about chat and voice commands and all kinds of stuff. You play it and you love it. I back the developers' new Cyberpunk Heist game. Okay, good. Okay, good. Yeah, Star Traders Frontiers is an amazing game. It's really, really cool. Here's the good stuff. The weapons. Assault rifle, flat cannon, lightning gun, sniper rifle, minigun. I think that was one of the complaints about Unreal Tournament 2003. They removed the sniper rifle and they put in the lightning gun as the sniping weapon, but nobody liked it. It's kind of an odd concept for a sniper rifle. I mean, mechanically it works the same way, but aesthetically it works differently. And honestly, I think that kind of messes with people. So I think they brought the sniper rifle back specifically in 2004. Rocket launcher, shield gun, shock rifle, ion painter, ion cannon, mine layer. I think the Avril is new. The Avril is like an anti-vehicle weapon. Trying to jump on Quake 3 and their lightning gun, I guess. Yeah. I mean, no, because that's the shield gun. Because the shield gun, the alt fire on that is just a beam that you can stick on people. And if you friendly fire it, the shield gun is actually pretty neat. This is what I'm thinking of. I think the shield gun, if you use the beam on friendly, on teammates, it actually increases their damage output. Considering the giant amount of free updates, Star Traders makes it one of the games that have the most bang for the buck in the last plus 10 years. Yeah, it's crazy that they keep updating that game. Fire rifle, link. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the link gun. Wow, I totally forgot the shield gun and the link gun were different weapons. Yeah, the link gun is the one, it's a beam cannon, but if you shoot the beam at someone on your team, it actually empowers them and makes their beam stronger. Ice, gold, or metal in Unreal Tournament? I might have to be ashamed here, but I'm not sure what you're referring to. Grenade launcher, translocator, Redeemer. I remember the Redeemer. I remember the Redeemer. Oh, the UI themes? Oh, ice. Ice, yeah. I always use ice. The Redeemer was so funny to me because it's basically a portable remote control nuke. The whole reason they called it the Redeemer was they were redeeming themselves for the crappy weapons that were in the original Unreal. Extremely on the nose. They got a breakdown of the different vehicles they have in it. They've got some game tips. Be sure to learn how to order your teammates around. Yeah, they're gonna fucking love that. And then a whole bunch of notes pages, actually. Ice Diamond or Turbo and American Gladiators. Oh, Turbo, obviously. So yeah, Unreal Tournament 2004. I actually played a lot of this. I played a lot of this in college. We played a lot of Quake 3, and then we graduated to Unreal Tournament. What else we got? What else we got? Okay. Keeping with the first-person shooter theme, I have the manual for everyone's favorite Serious Sam game. This is, I will tell you straight up, this is by no means the worst Serious Sam game. This one's actually pretty decent. Taken in the whole spectrum of Serious Sam games. Now listen. I have played through all of the Serious Sam games. For those of you that don't remember, one of my last acts as a video game reviewer was I played through the entire Serious Sam series. What's the worst one? Let me revisit real quick since I did catalog all of this. Let me just pop over to my website here. I would say Serious Sam 3. I would say technically the worst Serious Sam anything is the DLC that they put out for Serious Sam the Second Encounter, Legend of the Beast. Cause it was basically unfinished levels that they just polished up and put out, but honestly, there's a reason they were unfinished, is because they fucking suck. But the worst mainline Serious Sam is definitely Serious Sam 3. Love how easy it was to mod the old Unreal Engine. I was able to throw together a mutator after school that only spawned the Redeemer. Nice. Okay, good. It's not me. It's not me. Not a roguelike agrees. That means I'm in good hands. By the way, if y'all are curious, if y'all missed this when I did it, that is my breakdown of the entire Serious Sam series. I looked at 17 games. He was never a Serious Sam player, but this is new ground for me. I love the Serious Sam series. I am honestly a really big Serious Sam fan. I think they're really fun games. It's only because you pirated 3 and couldn't get anywhere. No, it's bad. Serious Sam 3 is the least Serious Sam. Like it's the Serious Sam series is very weird. And I think I mentioned this somewhere in my reviews. But here's what happened. I'll give you the breakdown of what happened. So Crow Team throws together Serious Sam the First Encounter basically as like a tech demo for their game engine, which honestly for the time was really impressive. It could render unprecedentedly huge areas, a ridiculous number of enemies, all kinds of blood and gore and carnage and good stuff. You could do rotating rooms and bouncy rooms and inverting rooms and all kinds of crazy shit. And people loved it. It was great. It was a great time. So Crow Team's like, holy shit, okay, people really like this. Let's keep running with this. So they made Serious Sam the Second Encounter. And that's even better. Like Serious Sam the Second Encounter is like a much more complete game. It has more environments, it has more stuff to do, it has more crazy secrets, more wild weapons. It's wonderful. It's a total package. Serious Sam the Second Encounter is the quintessential Serious Sam game. If you are only going to play one Serious Sam game in your life, make it the Second Encounter. Because that is truly the peak of the Serious Sam series. Because after that, they kind of didn't know what they were doing. Serious Sam 2 went all in on the graphics, on a comedic tone, and a lot of tropes from the early 2000s, like vehicle sections, turret sections. Everything got a lot more cartoony. The core gameplay is still there, but it feels very diluted by what they were doing with the aesthetic. This is the silliest Serious Sam. It is by no means the worst, but in terms of tone, it is the most lighthearted and goofy out of all of them. Serious Sam 3 is a hard, brutal swing back the other direction. It is very dry. It has a lot of military sim trappings to it. The story I've always heard is that Crow Team was working on a more serious military shooter to show off their newest iteration of the Serious engine. And late in development, they decided to retrofit it into a Serious Sam game, and that was the wrong choice. It is not fun. It does capture some of the Serious Sam like crazy ass gameplay, but only in very, very small parts. It has incredibly boring levels. It has incredibly boring secrets. It's just a very dry, boring game all the way around, and it's very unfortunate. Everything since Serious Sam 3 has been trying to drag the series back towards Serious Sam the First and Second Encounter, but for my money, they still haven't made it there yet. Let me pull this back up real quick to refresh my memory. The DLC for Serious Sam 3 is actually decent. It's a decent attempt to salvage Serious Sam 3 into something more recognizable. I think 4 is good. I would say 4 is a good game. 4 is an enjoyable time. 4 is as close as we've gotten to the original First and Second Encounters. It's still not there, and it still has its issues, but it's a very, very good attempt. Funny enough, the fan-made Serious Sam game, Siberian Mayhem, is probably the closest they've gotten. It's probably the closest anyone has gotten to the First and Second Encounters, like even more so than 4. So ultimately, the future of the Serious Sam series may be in better hands with fans than with Crow Team themselves, which is unexpected to me, but you know, them's the breaks, right? Didn't like 3 very much from what I tried. Felt like it was kind of insecure in itself. Like it wanted to appeal to the COD crowd, but also Serious Sam just made it dull. Yeah, I think it was the conflicted development that game had. First exposure to Serious Sam was all the Easter eggs to Talos Principle. I mean, look, if you're not into absolutely bonkers first-person shooting, like it's not gonna appeal to you. It's a very straightforward game. Like Serious Sam yam what he yam, and that's all that he yam. Like they give you big fucking guns and a shit ton of dudes to shoot, and you shoot the dudes. And when you finish shooting the dudes, you do like a puzzle or two, and then you shoot more dudes. It is some peak dude shooting, depending on which iteration you're playing, but it really just boils down to dude shooting. So, and I love it. I've come to appreciate the Serious Sam series and all its facets and spin-offs and such, but there are good Serious Sams and there are bad Serious Bams. Anyway, all this is to say, Serious Sam 2 is not as bad as people will tell you. It's not great, but it's definitely not the worst. I like the gameplay. I find the series absolutely atrocious on an aesthetic level. I can understand that too. I can actually understand that. It's not gonna rub everyone the right way. I think you can do some really cool stuff with the Serious engines over the years, but Crow Team didn't always do it. I do think Serious Sam 4 is a very good looking game. I think they did a decent job with that. They did a good job modernizing the look of Serious Sam with 4. Serious Sam 2 has some patches semi-recently, helped a lot. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Serious Sam 2 has actually been revitalized a bit via Crow Team. It's still not great, but yeah. Way more playable than, oh my god, yeah, just look at the style of this manual. Serious Sam 2 is a fucking cartoon. You need to understand that going in. Parts of it haven't aged all that well either. I'll tell you that right now. You don't have to defend it too strongly. There is, in fact, I'll go ahead and warn y'all right now. If you do play Serious Sam 2, there is a storyline. There's like a side story in the medieval kingdom that's pretty fucking misogynistic. Like yeah, skip the cutscenes. It's not great. It really, really isn't. They had some interesting weapons. They added some stuff to this. The hydroplasmatic handgun was an interesting one. The 12-gauge auto-reloading shotgun. The Uzis. I think the Uzis are probably the most iconic thing from this game. They added parrots with bombs, which is pretty cool. They of course brought back the SBC cannon, because you have to. Can't think of many FPSs that went for a Saturday morning cartoon aesthetic. That's very true. While still being as crass and gory as Serious Sam. It is an insanely colorful game, and I think that's to its credit, considering this was an early 2000s games during like the absolute peak of the brown shooter plague. Y'all, you can get fucking spring shoes in this game, okay? Spring shoes are a thing. So yeah. You can ride a velociraptor, you can run around in a hamster ball. Oh, I will say the final boss of this game is garbage. The final boss of this game is really, really shitty. There is that. Serious Sam 2 is a victim to the edgelord era of gaming and never got the full reappraisal stuff like Wind Waker got. I mean, it also made some choices in it that kept it from really deserving that too. I don't know. Serious Sam 2 is, I would say, here's the thing. For folks who have never gotten the Serious Sam series, I would say, play the first and second encounters and see if you even like the gameplay. If you like if you like the gameplay of the first and second encounters, I would play the more recent games. I would skip to 4 and Siberian Mayhem or whatever it's called. 2 and 3, I honestly wouldn't bother with unless you're like me and you're determined to play the entire Serious Sam franchise, or if you finish the first encounter, the second encounter, 4 and Siberian Mayhem, and you're like, I have to have more of this series. Well, the one I played for you is Siberian Mayhem. It is the most recent Serious Sam game here. I will actually bring it up. Here we go. There it is. Yeah, this is built in the engine in 4, but honestly, Time Lock Studio, I genuinely feel like at this point they have a better grip on what Serious Sam is than Crow Team does themselves. I feel like this does a better job of capturing the spirit of Serious Sam than Serious Sam 4 does. Not that Serious Sam 4 is a bad game. I just think this does it better. My favorite Serious Sam game is the twin stick shooter by the devs of Hammerwatch. Shit. Yeah, is that Bogus Detour? I think that's Serious Sam Bogus Detour. That one's good. The art in that one is incredible. I'd say if you really want more Serious Sam 2, is probably good for after first, second encounter. I haven't played 4 Siberian Mayhem and Millie, so take a word for it. Yeah, trust me. Everyone's first experience with Serious Sam should absolutely be the first and second encounters. And then if you want more than that, I would say 4 and or Siberian Mayhem. Yeah, 3 is never worth revisiting, and 2 is really more of a cultural oddity at this point than anything. Like, play that out of curiosity, but don't expect a real good Serious Sam out of it. But yeah, I really like this series now. I really do. I would even after playing through the entire series, I would definitely go back and replay the majority of these games. Serious Sam is an absolute gem. Two is a decent cartoon shooter with a nice aesthetic, mostly not the best Serious Sam. Yeah. The best Serious Sam will always be the movie and the hidden cinema. I mean, that is really good, to be fair. So, Wheel of Serious Sams. I mean, how would that even work? How much of it will we have to play? Because Serious Sam games are not short. Siberian Mayhem is a spin-off game, and it's 6 hours long. Hang on, how long is Serious Sam 4? Serious Sam 4 took me 14 hours to beat. Oh shit, every time you die you have to switch Sams? Oh, I kind of like that. We could make that work. Oh, grunt fodder. I think you might be onto something here. I'm gonna make a note of this. I kind of love this idea now. The Serious Wheel Night. Sounds fun, yeah. That might also mean none of them. No, yeah, we wouldn't remove them. I think what I would do, the way I would do it is spin the wheel, start playing that Serious Sam. When you die and respawn, save, and then spin the wheel and play a new Serious Sam. But don't take any of them off. And then that way, if you come back to one that you've already played, you can reload from where you died and keep going from there. It would be a sort of like Smite's Mega Man damage randomizer. Instead of changing when we take damage, just change when you die. Oh man, if there was a way to do a Serious Sam damage randomizer, that would be fucking wild. Just grab all of the mainline Serious Sam games. First Encounter, Second Encounter, 2, 3, 4, and Siberian Mayhem. That would be wild. That'd be really cool. All right, we've been at this long enough that my earbuds died, so. You get bounced around so much you wouldn't know where you were. Yeah, that's the fun of it. I mean, that happens to Smite when he's playing Mega Man games. Because like, just as an example, in some of the X games, you can get multi-hit. Like some you don't have nearly as much damage like invincibility time as in some of the other Mega Man games. You can get multi-hit and you'll just get bounced all over the place. One thing to mention with Serious Sam First and Second Encounter, there's two major versions pretty much these days. The HD version is Revolutions. HD is in 3's engine with graphical. So I did go through these shadows. When I did my Serious Samathon, I went out of my way to play the different versions. And my ultimate conclusion is if you want the best first and second encounter experience is to play Fusion. Fusion is in 3's engine, and you do lose. There was some unique architecture. There was some unique level design that they could do in the older versions of the Serious engine that they couldn't do in 3's engine. But I think you gain more than you lose from playing them in Fusion. I had the best time playing first and second encounter in Fusion. If you don't do that, just play the HD releases of first and second encounter. Those were solid as well. I don't like Serious Sam Classics Revolution. I didn't think that one was a good treatment of it. I know they were trying to recapture the feel of the original releases, but I don't like it. Been thinking of trying the Sonic games through a RetroArch thing that changes games every time you get a ring. Oh, that's insane. Not every time, like not a damage randomizer, not every time you get hit. I don't even know how you would play that. A straight up ring randomizer. Oh my God. I bet it changes how you approach levels. Jesus. Oh man. So anyway, chat, I think we probably come to the end of the evening. We're right up on midnight. I have to be up early tomorrow is the thing. I've got to be up at like 6 in the morning to go to this sports day festival thing. So I think we're probably going to end on the manual for Serious Sam 2. I grabbed the manual from Max Payne, the original Max Payne, but I think we'll talk about that another time because we've got plenty of other manuals to talk about on other nights. So I think this is going to become a thing. Probably, I'll probably try to do one of these manual nights once a month. I think like I do with the wheels and whatnot. I know I have a lot of Friday features that I try to do once a month. Probably not enough room for other things, but you know what? We'll make it work. We'll fit it all in there. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I had a really good time. It's nice to have another excuse to just kind of sit here and talk all evening, but actually have something really interesting to talk about. At least I thought it was interesting. Haven't thrown a community night doing well. I put a moratorium on those for a while. Community nights and Hell nights or Doom streams. I want to hold off on those for a bit, just because I'm really enjoying scheduling stuff like this, and when I let the community start commanding nights and games, it gets a little harder to fit stuff like this in. So, but I think that's all topics for another night anyway. So just a quick reminder, the schedule tomorrow night, back to the power hours. If you like bloviating about video games like I did tonight, well, we'll do more of that tomorrow night, except we'll actually play a few of the games. We should, actually, no, I'm not gonna say that. We might make it to the Game Boy features in the February 1993 issue of Nintendo Power. Just as likely that we get hung up on classified information or Counselor's Corner and y'all request a bunch of random shit that we played before, but you like seeing me play again and again and again. No stream on Sunday. I don't stream on Sundays. And then Monday, we're going to be starting a full playthrough of something, but I haven't decided what. It might be a point-and-click adventure. It might be a platformer. It might be something else. You're just going to have to show up and find out, because I'm not necessarily going to play coy, but I literally might not decide on what we're playing until we get there, so. Do a retro PC variety shit. Might be neat to try a shareware disk or two from Internet Archive so you can get that working. I might try that, yeah. I might try that. I've considered stuff like that in the past, so. Anyway, gang, with all that said, let's go find somebody to raid. Let's go see who's up. Oh, there's lots of people up. Oh man, I have not seen Kiwi and Stars on for ages. Let's go raid her. They're playing Fall Guys. I also haven't watched Fall Guys in a while. I really just want to see that Kiwi intro. That's all I'm looking for. Nah, Kiwi's a really good streamer though. It's good to see her online again, so. Anyway, gang, thank you so much for coming out tonight. Thank you for humoring me on yet another experimental stream that honestly turned out to be really fun. I had a really good time tonight. Hopefully you had a good time tonight. Hopefully you're looking forward to seeing more of these manual read-through nights in the future. And hopefully I will see you tomorrow night for a different kind of read-through for the Power Hours. But until then, as always, y'all take care. Bye, everybody.